ABC Sport.
It's all on the line. Here we go.
And the moment of truth has arrived.
What a matchup this is. What a game.
The umpire holds the footy up.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on earth.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Oh, there's a 50 getting side of the bounce.
The intensity and the pressure and the ball is unbelievable.
Take your moment. This is that moment of the game of footy.
This is just football at its best.
And that'll be it. From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop, the Brisbane Lions never stopped believing. And they are the champions.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
He pulled the river a magnificent goal.
Comes out, gathers, snaps, goal.
An extra bit of class.
He smashed that through. What a kick.
Goes bang with everything he's got.
They are leaving nothing out there.
Listen to the roar.
The drop punt. He's gone. And the building is jumping. We know he's a big shot taker. He's a big shot maker. Leans back on the kick. Game on.
Like camera action, baby. Countdown to contact.
From the right forward on it. Oh, he's a sharpshooter, all right.
Step up in the big moment.
Close to the man on the mark. Drop punt. He's there. Gathers. Snaps. He'll bring the house down.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
We'll put it on the boot. Pick up towards the logo.
You take a seat, cause it don't get better than
He
this.
defies the laws of gravity.
He runs onto it 50 from goal. He's in Dusty's pocket. He shoots. Oh, he's as bloody good as Dusty. Oh, yeah.
Rose snaps goal. The drop punt. It's good. And you can hear that body roar.
Walks one way and the next and the snap. There's the finish.
60 out. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
That's a massive kick. Big time spot. Big time goal kicker.
That's why we love football. Brilliant to watch.
From the centre wicket. Whips it for six. Scores level.
Running past. Throws it on the left. Could that be the sealer?
Seconds ticking down. We're not done yet. What a finish.
Welcome to the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport. On radio, on digital, and on the ABC Listen app.
You take a seat, cause it don't get better than this.
The fight for a top four finish has started to heat up with Geelong's 72-point win down the highway against the Tigers. Hawthorn get their chance to try and move up the ladder tonight. Their sixth spot at the start of the round and a spot inside the top four beckons if they can get past the Saints tonight. The Hawks are one of 7 sides locked on 10 wins, with third to ninth separated only by percentage. The Hawks have won their past 3 matches. Josh Battle plays against his former side for the first time, and Marbiel Chol celebrates game 100. While for St Kilda, while they've only won 2 of their last 11, they were in the game for 3 quarters against the Dockers last week before going down by 12 points. And Dan Butler also celebrates his 150th game tonight. The two sides will do battle for the annual Blue Ribbon Cup, so honouring the traditions and the courage and sacrifice of all Victorian police officers under the roof of Docklands. It's a Docklands double. After less than 4 hours ago, it was the Gold Coast Suns who proved too good for the Bombers. We're back here tonight. Matt Clinch with you for ABC Sport. There's no late changes with Brad Hill and Seamus Mitchell, the subs for their respective sides. Lauren Borden to call the action alongside me. Welcome, Loz.
Thanks, Clinch. It is great to be here, and you mentioned that double header. I'm just looking at the Saints warming up in the 2 centre circles here. Looks a little bit choppy there, perhaps not the same as some of the footy grounds as I was walking on my walk today. The beautiful sunshine in Melbourne, they were complete mud in the centre circle. So a little bit better than that, but certainly a little bit chopped up from the earlier game that saw Gold Coast defeat Essendon. So I've got St Kilda 5-10, and then Hawthorn the inverse at 10-5, and looking to stay in touch with that top 4 coming in as favourites tonight.
Yeah, how big is that gap between the two sides? We will find out tonight. A 2-time All-Australian, John Cahill medalist, Chad Wingard is with you once more for a Saturday night. Great to see you, Chad.
Yes, lads, thanks for having me. It's a very exciting game. I always love watching my Hawkers live in person, so I'm hoping for them to put on a display and a bit of a cutthroat performance, if I'm being honest.
And the Australian Football Hall of Famer, the St Kilda champion, coach of Coringal as he pushes that to one side and comes to the footy tonight. Nathan Burke, welcome to you.
You're poking the bear, Clinchy.
I'm not, I'm just pointing
Come on,
it out.
Berkey, what was the result today?
I'm not talking about the result today. But what I'm doing, hey, Chad set the rules. He said my Hawks. So if he's allowed to say that, I'm allowed to say my Saints. So it could be on up here in the back of the box today. Look out.
Could be the main event.
It certainly could be. I mean, we're all trying to get a gauge as to where St Kilda sit at the moment, where Hawthorn sit at the moment. I feel like the Hawks have come back rejuvenated, Chad, after their bye, an 85-point win over North Melbourne, and that's a sign of of things to come with still players in the reserves. We see James Sicily make his return tonight alongside James Warple, and there's still Cal Shadir, Will Day. There's a string of players to make their return as well, as Hawthorn look to capture that lightning in a bottle like they did last season.
Yeah, exactly right. But there's the big loss of Weddle. I mean, that's something that we're going to talk about for the probably rest of the season, if I'm being honest, as well as Will Day. They're two of the top 4 players at the club, and you think about how important they're going to be and where Hawthorn are trying to go. It's completely different to where St Kilda are trying to go. So you think about where their list is. Yes, they've got some guys to come back in the VFL. You got Mitchie Lewis, who's had his first game back, looked really good, looked really comfortable. Kel Shadir, not sure how that top, I suppose that the tall threes down forward line for Hawks looks like in the end of the season. Obviously, we got Max Ramsden, who played really well last week. And but yeah, towards the end of the season, I think they're just going to fine-tune what looks best for them going forward. And like I said, that midfield is, again, something that's a work in progress as well.
There are some players that are harder to replace than others. Berkey and Josh Weddle is one of them. Since round 9, he's been in the top 10 for intercept players and provides that damaging run from half-back, which has become such a catalyst of the way in which the game is played today.
Yeah, look, he's been outstanding, and a bloke like that who you can rely on, and the thing about him is he's been consistent. So he's playing a great role week in and week out for them, and somebody else has just got to step up now. The good thing is that they've got the Impey and those sort of guys. They're really good at playing that role as well. Probably not in the air like Weddle does, but distributing the ball coming out of there. They've got some really, really good ball unit users. So the Saints half forwards, Saints aren't a tall forward line, so they have to make sure that they're putting pressure on, not just winning the football, but those half-backs coming out of the Hawthorn back line, because that's where they like to set the game up from.
And from the St Kilda side of things, Dan Butler plays his 150th game tonight. He's had a tough slog this season trying to get back from that abdominal injury, but he plays a crucial role. And Ross Lyon was saying he's been happy with the team's progression. The youth, it would be good to put together 4 quarters against a formidable lineup tonight.
Yeah, look, as you said, they've won 2 out of the last 11. That's not great form coming into this game. The last 2 weeks, they've actually performed really well. They've just been beaten by better teams. So Collingwood and Fremantle are better than St Kilda. They've beaten them because they're a better team at the moment. For me, the key for the Saints is they still have to bring that enormous pressure. They won't be good enough to beat the Hawks just talent for talent. So they've got to bring that enormous pressure. If they can do that, turn the ball over in the front half, make the most of their opportunities, not kick a bunch of points, which they're prone to do at certain times, well, then they're potentially in this game. If they try and play the same game as Hawthorn, this will get ugly, because they're not good enough to play that style of game.
Around 7 minutes away from the opening bouncer is another match taking place as well. Tonight it's the Brisbane Lions taking on Port Adelaide. That's about 2 minutes from the opening bounce, so I'll keep you across both matches tonight on ABC Sport. Darcy Gardner and also Hugh Jackson are the 2 subs tonight from the Gabba. A couple of cult figures, Chad. We get to see the Flying Viking, Alex Tarou. Ross Lyon was asked about him during his weekly press conference. He made 14 spoils last week against the Dockers. He jokingly couldn't help himself and said 14 goals used to be the highlight. Now it's 14 spoils and you're a cult figure. And it's Nick Watson at the other end, the wizard, who so many Hawks fans have loved getting on board. Yeah, and if you look down one of the NDA, you see all the Viking helmets, which is great for St Kilda fans to have a player that they can actually get around. And I feel like it's been a while since they've had like a real, I suppose, exciting player for them to get around. And Taru, he was actually a compensation pick from Battle as well, which is an extremely amazing part of the game where, you know, St Kilda, they've complained about getting talent and, you know, they've obviously written a letter. But when you find gems like that from obviously someone leaving and you find a replacement like him, he's been super impressive. I watched him against Collingwood as well, and even he didn't get as many spoils then, but the way that he played Myercheck, he was super close. His closing speed is actually really impressive. And I spoke before the game, Berkey, about, you know, you see someone who comes across those players, you get a bit worried sometimes, where's their opponent? But when it's his time to go, he gets his one-on-ones done. And that's what's so exciting for me about him. He does get his one-on-ones done, but he also comes across and doesn't lose that impact in the air either.
And you're right, it's been 22 years since we've had a player that was high-flying like that.
Who are you throwing us towards?
The smirk.
I thought you were throwing sort of a Trevor Barker sort of name. It was the helmeted warrior himself that was saying he was a high flyer. Sorry, Becky, you just caught me off guard there. I just wasn't the natural name I was thinking of.
You flattened me. I thought it was obvious. But
for a fan favourite, it almost brings me back to, like, for St Kilda, they haven't had someone like a almost Del Santo or someone that they can really get it behind. I think of, oh my God, why have my mind?
Big Revolt.
Yeah, Revolt, like that kind of era. It feels like it's been a bit of like looking down and there is about 100 to 200 people with the Viking helmet on. Like that's exciting for people to come to the game and have someone that they can cheer on.
They were selling them on the walkway from the train station here. So he's in his third game.
You better get some royalties.
They're selling them.
Can't add that, but yeah, the obvious one is, and the old people would realise that the way Trevor Barker played, the aerial expertise of Trevor used to just light up Moorabbin. So hopefully he gets the confidence and they give him the licence. Last week he was flying up there and spoiling it. If they give him the licence to say, mate, a few of those, if you get the opportunity, actually grab it. Yeah. Don't spoil everyone, and then it's going to be really, really exciting. But let's not forget he's in his third game.
Colton figure, yes, Berkey. I didn't think high fly. I'll put the two together throughout the night. Ross Lyon rolled real
mark once.
High contested mark, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah?
I jumped up and Craig Devonport ran underneath me. I didn't actually jump, but he ran underneath me. And then I marked it, I fell down, and then a player ran past and hit me in the head, and I got knocked out, and that was the end. But there was a photo of it.
Oh, no.
It was in the 1996 night grand final.
Oh, there you go.
On the bench.
Well, at least it was, remembered with a photo that was taken.
I don't care, we lost, I got to hang it.
If you want to join us on the SMS throughout the night, 0437 774 774. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden to call the action. Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport. Marty Vinyl to join us on the boundary. So Ross Lyon reeled through some of the younger players, Alex Taru, Max Hall, Isaac Keeler, Isaiah Wanganeen Miller, who they're hoping to keep at season's end, Mitch Owens, Darcy Williams. Hugo Garcia played the Darcy...
Yeah.
The Marcus Winhager role last week as the tagger and went to Caleb Sarong. But also St Kilda pulling away from that relationship with the Sandringham Footy Club and having their own VFL side. And he said it's about having that continuity from the AFL to the VFL. And the difference at the moment between some of those better, bigger, more experienced clubs is that they have players that might play 50 to 60 games in the VFL, where at St Kilda at the moment they're getting that early exposure, which can be great for the opportunity, but in terms of those standard and that progression to the top tier, it can be sometimes detrimental.
And there's always the push-pull. Way back in my day, we were sending players down to Springvale. Graham Wright was actually the coach at Springvale, so he's come a long way to be in charge of Collingwood Football Club. But there's always the push, so that the AFL team say, hey, we want you to just develop these blokes, and we might play them in odd positions, and we might move them here, we might move them there. Yet you've got the rusted-on VFL supporters. They want to go down and watch their team win each week. They don't care about where you're playing AFL players and what you're sort of doing this and that. They want to see the team win. So there's always that push between development and winning. You take away the VFL affiliate and you can... It doesn't really matter whether you win or lose VFL as long as you develop your players the right way. And I think that is more important to the AFL teams than sort of going down and winning a few games in the VFL.
Do you imagine that player is John Newcomb, who St Kilda might put some attention into tonight, Chad?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's obviously the obvious one in the middle that can really be a ball and a force in there. So whether he gets the tag or not, I reckon they'll be pretty floating with it. I reckon whoever's dominating at the time, because at the moment there's no Will Day. So Will Day is obviously the number one guy. But you've got Warple in there, who's a clearance king. You've got John Newcomb. And they might even put Watson in there. He looked really good against when he had a couple of centre bounces. So it really depends on who's getting on top of him. I don't think it's going to be as clear-cut as a Bontempelli or who's the superstar of this team without Will Day.
I could even say Garcia again. Did a good job last week. Mate, learn from John Newcomb and how hard he works and how many contests he gets to. So play on him and, I don't care if you really stop him, but you'll be a better player from learning how he plays the game.
He had a career high 10 clearances, Garcia, last week with that job on Caleb Sarong. The final member of our team sitting in the front row tonight, Marnie Vinyl, is with us. Welcome to you, Marnie.
Thanks, Clinchy. So it was James Sicily that won the coin toss, which means Hawthorn will be kicking to the right of your radio dials. That's the Coventry end. And it's Bradley Hill who's going to be the sub for the first time as the starting sub for the Saints, and then Seamus Mitchell for Hawthorn.
Thanks, Marnie. Looking forward to your contributions throughout the night as the shot clock on the big screen is under 10 seconds and we're all in readiness. The second match at Docklands on a Saturday in round 17. The Hawks trying to fight their way up the ladder and back inside the AFL's top four. While the Saints are looking for a scalp, can they take down a formidable side? Here's Lauren Borden to get us underway on Saturday Night Footy.
Meek and Marshall eye each other from opposite sides of the centre circle as the umpire slams the ball in the turf to get this match underway under the roof of Docklands. McRae overruns it. Garcia can pick it up and he's taken down on a strong tackle by Newcomb, where he's held to the turf and there's a little bit of pushing and shoving to get Newcomb off his man. He's just being dragged off in the end by McRae, and then Steele gives Newcomb a little push back to the ground. The umpire just wants to get the play underway again and tosses it up. Meek gets a little tap out, stolen by Steele though. Hand pass to McRae, dispossessed. Ginnivan grabs it and hand passes it though directly into the path of Garcia, who puts the Saints inside 50. But Tom Barras is sitting there and ably collects the intercept mark for Hawthorn. Flares it to the outer side of the ground where Massimo D'Ambrosio marks at left half back. Hawthorn holding it. A chip kick across to Carl Amon. He'll now go backwards towards James Sicily. He gets a little bit of an applause. His first game back from injury since round 12. He kicks to the wing to Morrison. Morrison, did he hold it in? Or it looked like he bounced it and kept it in, but the umpire will come back and pull him and say it's out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in just to the right of the Hawthorn bench at centre wing. No score yet, about a minute played in the opening term on ABC Sport.
John on the SMS, 0437 774 774, thinks this is a 50-50 game. And the Saints are a good chance. Marshall wins down the tap. Connor Nash squeezes the kick up towards half forward through the hands of Watson. Can't take the mark. Rankin and Miller are back on it for St Kilda. Out pass to Windhagen was dragged down. And advantage is taken by Garcia, who gets it forward to Wanganeen Miller. Runs the boundary line for the Saints. Good kick inboard. Finds Hall. They've got options in the middle of the ground. Out pass to Sinclair. He might go for home from 55 metres out. He just misses to the right-hand side. He did have Dan Butler in the right forward pocket, but went for glory. St Kilda scored first there behind to Hawthorn yet to score 2 minutes in.
Wanganeen Malera's just switch into the corridor was those boos you hear of Josh Battle inevitably, but Wanganeen Malera, his kicking into the corridor just sets the game right up.
So Josh Battle, of course, playing against his former side for the first time. 123 games for St Kilda before transferring in the off-season. Came third in the best and fairest, and Hawthorn asked him, St Kilda asked him not to come to the night last year after he'd made his decision to move to Hawthorn. So it'll be a throw in centre wing outer side of the ground. It's tapped down towards Mason Wood, who shoves it on his boot. He's looking for Owens inside the forward 50. Barras can punch it away. It'll be gathered by Higgins. Hand pass to Butler. Game 150. Just tries to curl the ball further towards St Kilda goal, but it's Harry Morrison who steps back, and it's Morrison who's getting a consistent run of it that intercepts for the Hawks.
Morrison out of defence for the Hawks, up towards Ramsden, and Meek in front. And Big Lloyd Meek takes the mark. An imposing figure against Rowan Marshall as he gets back to his feet and will chip it back inside the defensive 50. Battle will take the mark. We won't have to call him for you tonight as he gives the hand pass to Carl Amon. Kicks to half back where Ward marks for Hawthorn and chips it out to Impey. Kick mark game on display for Hawthorn as they transition from left half back up the wing. Through Dylan Moore and now up to Morrison, who marks it right half forward. He looks inside 50. Mabior Chol is the deepest forward. Jack Gunston, after 7 goals last week, he pokes it in that direction. It won't clear Wilkie. Backing back and he takes the mark. The evergreen, reliable St Kilda defender at a left half back. St Kilda leading by a point.
Wilkie on Gunston's going to be a really good battle.
Wilkie just kicks it down to Wilson. The mark still at left half back for the Saints. The only score on the board so far, leading by that 1 point, 3.5 minutes into the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Wilson kicks it right down the wing. He's looking for Owens again in a pack, but Impey can punch it out for the Hawks to try and gather it. It's Meek that does gather it, but his hand pass is stolen by Hall. He can hand pass it across to McRae. Might have been taken high. Umpire says play on, and we'll put the kick inside forward 50 towards Marshall, where it's just punched over the boundary line and brought over for a throw in. Again, there's a little bit of push and shove as the ball will be set to be tossed inside forward 50 for the Saints.
Now, this is dangerous time for the Saints here. They're going to make sure they don't give away a free kick, because this is where the small forwards get really electric in their stoppages.
So Marshall has front position, can palm it down. Hardwick's there to rove it, shoves it on his boot. It'll just bobble its way outside of defensive 50 and will be seen over the boundary line by Keeler and Moore for a throw-in at half-forward for St Kilda. They're leading by a point. 4.5 minutes played in the first term.
And Berkey, St Kilda, they're setting up their defence, probably the best I've seen it. You think about it, they're getting in great positions, they're keeping them very wide, and you're not allowing them to get any speed off their turnovers.
Ward across half back for the Hawks. Inboard to Ginnivan. Had to get rid of it quickly to Carl Amon. Hand pass missed battle. And Hall slides in for the Saints. Kicks around his body in the direction of Calmanini. In fact, it was Cooper Sharman who was caught behind. And Tom Barras takes the mark for Hawthorn. Gets the hand pass away to Sicily. Works it out to Jarman Impey at left half back, and now D'Ambrosio wants to get the hand pass over the top. He links up here with Carl Amon. Almost too slow as he's bumped by Wilson. The kick off the hands of Ramsden, kept in by Dylan Moore. Hand passes around the boundary line. Taru gets back. He's bumped off though by the Saints and close to the boundary line. Now Wilkie is happy to see it across and in for a throw-in. Opening 2 goals the way of Port Adelaide at the Gabba. Mitch Georgiades and Willie Rioli there. 2-1-13 to the Brisbane Lions 2 behinds. There is an ABC call, of course, available on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the AFL Extra button.
Ball gets flung back in. Nash can rove it, take it, hand pass it back to D'Ambrosio, who puts it on his left boot straight inside the pocket for Hawthorn. Punch down. Chol roves, dodges around his opponent, slices off his left boot and misses to the right-hand side. It was a good effort there from Chol in his 100th game, but just a behind for Hawthorn. It locks up scores at 1 point apiece, nearly 6 minutes played in the opening term.
He did everything right, but finished. Brought the ball to ground, crumbed it himself, and probably should have put that one through from 15 metres out.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Isaiah Wanganeen-Miller brings the Saints back into play to Webster in the back pocket. Sends it up towards the wing. No mark claim. Cooper Sharman tackled by Connor Nash, and the Irishman scorch him across the boundary line for a throw-in. Scores locked at a behind a piece through 6 minutes in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
So far the Saints have been fairly efficient. The Hawks have had 33 possessions to 19, but they've only gone inside 50 twice compared to 5 for the Saints.
Marshall palms it down close to the boundary line, and it trickles out in front of Warple for a throw-in in front of the Hawthorn bench. The Gold Coast Suns winners by 41 points over the Bombers earlier today, and Geelong by 72 points over the Tigers. 8 goals in the second quarter away of the Cats to break open by 59 points at half-time. Meek takes it out of the ruck. Hand pass to McKenzie. Tackled as he got a kick forward. It might work though. Warple running onto it. Taru came running at him. Laid a big tackle. Holding the ball. Well, that's a way to make your presence known.
Yeah, he left his player and came forward into Warple and laid a very, very strong tackle. Not great technique because he almost hurt himself, but that to make that decision that quickly, outstanding.
So he shares the ball across to Wanganeen-Miller, who moves it down to Clark, and he'll get the kick for St Kilda, right to right, half back. It'll be Butler with the footy, can hand pass to Sinclair. He's dodging and weaving and running in a 360, still holding on to the footy, just gets a hand pass away to Windhager, 60 metres out from goal. Inside 50 he goes, Impey tries to take the mark, spills at the back of his hands, and Nash can pick it up. Hand pass to McKenzie, who hand passes backwards towards Hardwick, who can get the kick down. And it's Ramsden who's dropped back to help out in defence for Hawthorn. And he'll take the mark inside the defensive pocket for the Hawks.
Kicked 3 goals last week against the Roos and held his spot in this Hawthorn side. Across half back to Sicily. In the long sleeves, he switches out to D'Ambrosio on the city wing. This is good movement by the Hawks up to McDonald at half forward, and he releases Moore, who looks up, and Kinnaman's all on his own at the top of the 50. He takes the mark. Gunston's on the move. Meeks moved towards the goal square, and now Jack Ginnivan might have to have the shot on goal.
Yeah, Hawthorn pushed really quickly inside their forward 50 then and beat the Saints defenders back inside 50. And luckily for the Saints, this shot is outside 50 because it could have been a shot a lot closer to goal.
17 goals, 7 for the Premiership Pie this season as Jack Ginnivan will start outside 50. He'll need every millimetre as he veers out to the right. It's offline to the right-hand side. Ramsden's underneath and Taru flies to spoil it out of play. A boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Scores level at a behind a piece. 9 minutes gone in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
So Taru with a few early touches in just his 3rd game of footy. This ball is tossed back in. It's tapped away by Meek, falls to ground. Wilkie goes over it. Clark has a go at it for St Kilda, and they're all wrapped up for a ball up about 25 metres out from Hawthorn's goal. Kicking towards the Coventry end of Docklands in this opening term. Neither side yet to score a goal in the opening quarter as Nash goes in after it, pushes it along. Warple has a go, can hand pass to McDonald. Hand passes it across to Gunston. He tried to get the high free kick and it is paid. So a high free kick on Jack Gunston will set him up for a shot on goal to kick the first of the night.
Not the person you'd think you'd get a high tackle. Normally it's a small forwards, but he actually slipped. He actually was trying to drive forward and it wasn't a attempted trying to get a high tackle, but he slipped on it when he took off and he actually got his feet tangled up and fell over, and it's a bit of a stiff free kick. But for Gunston, he's been on a tear lately. He's obviously in career best form and he's about to line up from 45 out.
7 goals last week. The leading goal kicker swings this one towards goals, and again, he's just offline to the right-hand side. So Gunston starts his night with a behind, and the Hawks are out by 1 point. 10 minutes played in the first term at Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Kicked 7 goals, 1 last week as well. Just the one miss in front of goal as Jack Sinclair looks to bring the Saints back into play. Kicks as long as he can up towards the wing. Keeler's the target. Barris makes the spoil. It trickles to the back where D'Ambrosio's over the top of it and Hunter Clark over the top of him. Good support from Jack Higgins, and the umpire will ball it up. Hawthorn lead by a point. 2 behinds play, 1 behind. Dow, a low-scoring affair early here under the roof of Docklands. Thrown up, Meek tries to take another ruck with one arm. He chisels a kick up the wing towards Ramsden, who can't take it. Taru taps it towards the boundary line and it goes out of play. Umpire says throw it in. Josh Battle playing against his former side for the first time. We've seen different responses. How'd you find it, Chad, playing against the Power as a Hawthorn player for the first time?
It is hard. It is very hard. I mean, I was lucky enough that I got put in the middle, so I had an immediate impact. Playing as a forward, it can be a bit hard. But Clark, I knew he's pretty good like that. But you have to just try and get an early touch or an early goal to try and settle those nerves.
Nash to McKenzie, tackled and holding the ball as Hall lays the tackle. There's a few Hawks that have played at other clubs. Luke Hodge and Sam Mitchell come to mind. Jordan Lewis. Brendan Goddard, of course, was the one who was in tears at the final siren. I think a few of his old teammates let him know they didn't miss him that much. As it's picked up by Jack McRae, he was very emotional. Sinclair tries to break away. He's locked up and the umpire will ball it up on the wing. Hawthorn leading by a point. 11 minutes gone. Opening term. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Max Hall also spent a fair bit of time at the Box Hill Hawks. I'm sure there's a few players that he'd be a bit familiar with now. He's in Saints colours.
Doing a really good job too last week.
Super impressive.
Best game, which was great. But can he progress into the midfield, do you think, or is he half forward only?
No, he can definitely progress into midfield. He played like a lot of midfield at Box Hill, and he was very kick goals still, even from the midfield.
Jack with an inside 50. Taru had front position. It'll be a mark though to Big Ramsden for Hawthorn. He plays on with the footy, moves it down into the forward pocket to find Gunston, who marks on the lead, and we'll have another set shot at goals. This one a tighter angle, but about 35 metres out.
Well, the mark was impressive by Ramsden, but not as impressive as the kick out in front of Gunston for a big fella off a step. That was really well done.
Jack Gunston on his side to snap towards goal, but the first one for the Hawks. There it is. Second time lucky, and Gunston's got the first goal of the night. It's Hawthorn 1-2-8 leading St Kilda, just the one behind. 12 and a half minutes played in this opening term. Let's head down to Marnie Vinyl on the boundary.
It might be a Saints home game, but there is a lot of brown and gold in the crowd, and boy did they enjoy that goal. It's a fairly decent crowd now, and I think it's going to get pretty noisy tonight.
So far through the arcs, it's fairly even. The clearances are fairly even between the two teams. The Hawks have got their nose in front there, but you just get the sense that going inside forward 50, the Hawks just look more dangerous, don't they? They're just getting better opportunities, whereas the Saints go inside 50. If they bomb the ball, they haven't got the tools to beat Battle and Sicily and those sort of guys. So they've got to bring it to ground. But when it hits the ground, it's the Hawthorn small defenders that are on that ball first. So in terms of who's looking more dangerous, it's definitely the Hawks.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. 6-3, the inside 50 is the way of St Kilda. As Garcia gets a hand pass to Hunter Clark, links up with Jack McRae. They get the clearance inside 50. Sicily makes the spoil coming across Higgins. It's gathered by Newcomb. Hand pass away to Battle. At half back, here's a chance for Hardwick. Hacks a kick up the wing. Awkward bouncing ball, but cleanly picked up by Watson. Hand pass to Morrison. Gets it forward to McKenzie at right half forward for Hawthorn. Needs to get around Taru. Kicks on the bounce to Kinnavan. Hard in against the boundary line. One way, then the other against Wilkie. Centering ball looking for Newcomb. Windhager not paid the mark. They scrap forward at ground level, and the umpire, as everyone turns to him, says he'll ball it up 35 metres out from Hawthorn's goal. The Hawks by 7 points. 2 quick goals for the Brisbane Lions. Still Port Adelaide 3-1-19, leading the Lions 2-2-14.
Meek with the tap out right into the goal square. Ginnivan running onto it. In the end, it's Windhager who gets there first and just rushes it through for a minor score. So St Kilda's, Hawthorn's margin rather, out to 8 points. Marnie Vinyl on the boundary.
Rowan Marshall is just getting a bit of work done to his lower back, getting plenty of deep heat in that, so one to watch.
The difference there is that Saints won the clearance, went forward, couldn't get a stoppage. Hawks got the ball out. Hawks got the ball forward, got a stoppage, ending up getting a score.
Wanganeen Miller around the boundary line. Chol offered the chase, got good support from Caminiti. The kick failed to hit a target though at half back. It's kept alive momentarily and now seen out of play in a boundary throw-in. So Hawthorn leading by 8 points, 1-3-9 to St Kilda, one behind.
They've been inside 54 times for the Hawks and scored 4 times.
Caminiti was trying to shove Marbiel Chol out of the way and giving support for Wanganeen Miller. Meek wins down the tap from the ruck battle. Jack McRae, though, first onto it. Hand pass to Wanganeen Miller. His hand pass is a turnover. Meek lost the footy, though. Garcia gets the hand pass to Clark, and now away to Winhager. Bombs it long up towards Keeler. He's shoved out of the way. Tom Barris, as he does so well, takes the intercepting mark and switches across half-back. And Morrison is away for the Hawks.
He releases it off to Impey. You can put the ball on his boot, kick it right down the wing. Almost a good mark taken by Watson. He'll chase after it desperately, but it's taken over the boundary line for a throw-in.
And Barris is starting to become a real problem. I mean, Keeler just got pushed out too easy. He needs to search for the body earlier, not do it at the last minute, because Barris is just too good like that. I know he's playing in from behind, but that's probably the 3rd or 4th intercept possession that he's had, and it's looking like it could be a really dangerous. They even need to put him up closer or get him away from him, because Barris is just having to dictate their back line right now.
So ball wrapped up, it'll be another ball up just in front of our broadcast position. As it gets tapped out, Newcomb running after it, puts his head over the footy. Clark runs into him. That'll be a free kick going Newcomb's way. And he got run into there, right into his head. So he takes the free kick and passes it off straight to Butler, who comes in and intercepts the footy. He can flare it out wide to Steele, who's all alone at left half forward. Takes a bounce, has Owens short. In the end, pulls the kick, looking for Keeler. And it's an intercept mark from Jack, who came running in and read it and jumped in front of Keeler to stop the ball from going any further. So Hawthorn defence working well again.
Sorry, bad choice there by Steele. He had Mitch Owens running into the pocket. It was just a simple chip over the top. Went for the tricky one, didn't come off.
You could see he was trying to choose the right avenue inside 50. In the end, didn't make the right decision. The captain was Morrison at half-back. Hand pass which releases Impey. He streams down the wing. Chips a high ball in the direction of Ramsden. He and Wilkie compete in the air. Watson clean, spins out of a tackle. Hand pass to Gunston. Jack Gunston on the run. He drags it to the left-hand side. 1 goal, 2 so far after 7 goals, 1 last week. Hawthorn leading by 9 points. 1-4-10 to 1 behind for St Kilda. Meanwhile, the Gabba, it scores a level at 3-2-20 apiece between the Brisbane Lions and Port Adelaide.
Oh, Jack had a couple there sitting in the corridor that had the arms out waiting for that one as well.
Yeah, Charlie was one of them that was pretty verbal towards him. Probably could have got a chip little kick over to him.
Wanganeen Miller and Wilkie work it out of defensive 50 across to Sinclair, who just chips it forward to Hall. Moves the ball on quickly by hands across to Clark, who dabs his kick inside 50. He was looking for Garcia, didn't hit him, and then it's Jathan Owens in a battle. Ball ricochets back to Owens, across to Butler, who tries to put the ball on his boot, doesn't get very far, comes back to Wilson. He hand passes to Butler, who hand passes back to Hall. He's hemmed in right, close to the boundary line, 45 metres out from goal. It bounced, doesn't favour the goal. It gets to the goal square, though, and then it's more chasing after it for the Hawks. He goes in after it, dives on top of it, and he's wrapped up in there by Steele. And everyone seems happy to just hold the ball up for a second, for a ball up deep inside forward 50 for the Saints. They haven't kicked a goal so far in this opening term. It's the Hawks ahead by 9.
Just metres out from St Kilda's goal. Marshall tries to protect the space, can't get a clean disposal away as Steele lays the tackle on Ward down low, and the umpire will ball it up. Right forward pocket for St Kilda. We've had 9 inside 50s to 5 in the early stages. Marshall whacks it down, but straight to Newcomb. He can't break away as Jack Steele lays the tackle. Wanganeen Miller up with 8 disposal. Lloyd Meek has led the way with 6 for the Hawks. Ramsden doing the ruck work here. Spills out. Hall, creative, made something out of nothing. On the move, jammed it on his boot and put through St Kilda's first. Hawthorn 1-4-10. St Kilda 1-1-7. That's a crafty goal from the clever small forward. Gives St Kilda something to try and build on. Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
We're just looking at the replay of this one here. The Hawks players, they were next to him to start with. I think it was Harry Morrison, but he was too busy sort of instructing his other players where to stand. And Hall, all he needed was that metre. He went at the footy and snapped it from 10 metres out. So whilst Harry Morrison, I love the way you're instructing your teammates, but you've got to get your job done as well. But That was a reward for effort from the Saints, reward for midfield effort. It's the first time they've actually had repeat stoppages and been able to hold the ball inside their forward line without the Hawthorn back line zooming it down the other end. So that's the only way they're going to score goals today, is if they can get those repeat entries. Call them ugly goals, but they're still goals.
Maxwell gets his 14th goal this season, having played every game as plays restarted in the middle. And then Marshall runs in after it. Hand pass across to Sinclair, who can't gather. At the bottom of the pack is Nash. He's wrapped up by Steele, and it'll be locked up and another ball up just outside the 2 centre circles.
On the SMS, Jim's been in touch, 0437 774 774. Go the Hawks from Limerick in Ireland.
Steele puts the ball right up high into the sky. Picked off, though, by Moore, who hand passes it to McKenzie. He's tackled, and it'll be a free kick, holding the ball going the way of the Saints. So Clark with the footy, plays on quickly, hand pass to Wanganeen Millera, right in the centre of Docklands, inside 50, over the fingertips of Sharman. And Jack's there to pick it up, clean it up, and hand pass across to D'Ambrosio. Left half back for the Hawks. Chips it across to McDonald, who can find its way to Amon. He kicks it straight into the man in the mark, and Sinclair. Ball ricochets back, and it's Hall who can gather it again for the Saints. Clears himself into some space, and will put the kick right to the top of the 50 for St Kilda, where Butler's desperately trying to bounce it back to him in a one-on-one battle with Jack. Jack can just push it away to Barrows, who clears the footy outside a defensive 50.
Only as far as Windhager, who gathers, but his kick on goal is across the face. It won't score. And the Hawks race after it. It's gathered in the end by Josh Battle. Hand pass to Wimpy, and Hawthorn out of defence. Up to one-on-ones. Branston just got in prime position against Taru and takes the mark. Right half back for Hawthorn to relieve the pressure. Hawthorn by 3 points. 21 minutes gone. Opening term, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Ramsden's high kick in the direction of fellow ruck Lloyd Meek, who's worked underneath by Caminiti. At the back, Watson gets a hand pass to Morrison. Look away, hand pass over his shoulder. And more punches it forward. That's the insufficient
No
intent.
way.
He tried to punch it inside
Forward,
50.
yeah.
It came off the side of his fist. It's a complete nut accident. If they call skill errors, that's a skill error in a punch. Didn't mean that.
Oh, and then a poor turnover in the end from half back. Angus Hastie turns it over, and it's taken by Carl Amon straight down the middle. He finds Nick Watson just inside 50, 40 metres out from goal, directly in front.
Yeah, young Hastie, that's the second one of those that he's done coming through the middle, just biting off a little bit more than he can chew. He's just a young player, only played a handful of games. Just keep it simple early. Just bang it forward, get it inside 50. Don't try and bite off too much, because there's 2 in a row. So hopefully the senior blokes get around him and give him a bit of a bunker.
Provided a contender for goal of the year last week, Nick Watson. This is more stock standard from 45 metres out. He comes in, and the Wizard is on the board early, providing a spark for those supporting the brown and gold tonight. Hawthorn 2-4-16 to St Kilda 1-1-7. Watson answers straight back after the whole goal at the other end. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borton calling the action. Marnie Varnell down on the boundary. Your experts Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke.
Yeah, and Becky, you hit the nail on the head. There's probably 2 things that are a little bit worrying at the moment for the Saints, and that's their attention inside their forward 50. And obviously Barris has made a massive, I suppose, part in that. But it's just the ability, once they do win possession, Hawthorn, they get out too quickly. So that's where their skill execution, their kicking's very impressive. And same with St Kilda then. Yes, we just spoke about it as a poor kick. But if that hits, again, they're probably out. But that's the trouble with those kicks. You take the risk, and if you hit it, it pays off. But when you turn it over the middle of the ground off a turnover, that's always going to bite you. I mean, Dylan Moore was actually in the goal square by himself. That Wizard could have just chipped it over, but lucky you kicked that, because you'd be pretty filthy if you didn't pass that off.
2-1 in the opening term, Hawthorn's way. They're leading by 9 points as Meek runs past the footy, and it comes back to the centre circles where Higgins has a go. It's taken back by Hawthorn. Hardwick and passes it to D'Ambrosio, who puts it right to left half forward. It'll be a chip in from Moore into the forward pocket. Here's Gunston again. And Jack Dunstan will have a kick from almost the exact same point as where he kicked the first goal of the game.
I saw number 19 do that for many, many times. Lead out, chest mark.
So snaps it towards goal. This one, though, is offline. So it's a minor score. He's now kicked 1 goal 3 this opening term, Jack Dunstan. Hawthorn's lead is 10 points.
The bottom 8 Saints players are only sharing 5 possessions between them. So it just goes to show that there's a whole bunch of them. That bottom 8, 3 of them haven't touched the ball. 5 of them have had 1 possession. There's too much being left to too few at the moment.
Sinclair's kick out towards Cooper Sharman is spoiled away by Jaff, and CJ sees it out of play. Just having a look at the Gabba, all of a sudden Brisbane have kicked 6 unanswered goals in the opening quarter there to wrestle away momentum from Port Adelaide, who started well. Back in the middle of the ground, Butler wins it for the Saints. Hand pass to Steele. His hand pass went straight to McKenzie, and he's locked up by Jack McRae. Brisbane 7-2-44 to Port Adelaide 3-2-20. Sava Radicale also coming from the field for Port Adelaide.
Umpire tosses the ball up. It's tapped away. It's a holding free kick in the end towards the Hawks. Umpire calls play on. Warple just shoves the kick inside 50. Goes past his teammates. And Taru chasing after it. Close to the boundary line. Wants to find the safety of it. And it'll be a ball in deep inside forward 50 for the Hawks.
Shouldn't be allowed to play advantage from a ruck free kick because no one knows who the free
everyone
kick's going
stops.
to.
Yeah.
Everyone stops. Should be banned.
So inside forward 50 for the Hawks. It's tapped down by Meek. Straight to Hunter Clark, though. Hand passes it to Taru, who sends a spiralling kick outside 50, looking for Owens, who was held onto by Sicily. And it'll be a free kick to the St Kilda forward.
And they both had a good hug on each other then.
Play on.
So Mitch Owens just chips it across to Sinclair. He's a little indecisive about where to go. And in the end, he turns backwards. He's got Wilkie 25 metres out from defensive goal, and that's his choice that he makes. So Wilkie shares it across to Caminiti, who's found his place in the back line now. And he marks in the right back pocket before going back to Sinclair. Saints have just worked it to the outer side of the ground. Sinclair will move it slightly further inboard towards Keeler. Mark centre half back, he's got Sinclair running past him. Very slow getting it out of defence as Keeler just wants to go backwards towards Caminiti. Just inside defensive 50 though. Look to switch it back to the dockside side of the ground. And Caminiti gets urged to play on, but gets some distance on his kick across to centre wing. Hager at the back. Can't win out to the footy. It's taken by Jack, who puts some speed on and then will chip it right down towards Watson, who rises high and marks at right half forward.
He looks up and has Ramsden as the deepest target. Can he get it to him? In from the side, Moore spoiled Newcomb. In fact, it was Moore who was down there at ground level. Morrison gathers, cuts across his body, and he might have given away a free kick for a throw. So it's coming back against Jai Newcomb, and the free kick will go the way of Jack Steele. Hawthorn 2-5-17 to St Kilda 1-1-7. That's despite the Saints having 12-9 inside 50s, while the Gabba, it's the Brisbane Lions 7-3, leading it by 25 points. Approaching quarter time there as well. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden call the action. Marnie Vinyl down on the boundary. Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke, your experts for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Steele back to Alex Taru. He kicks long towards half back. Hasty worked underneath it. And the mark taken by Jarman Empey between wing and half forward on the City side.
It was his experience that allowed him to take that mark against the young fella.
Jarman again goes into the left forward pocket, falls down, Ramsden takes it, hand passes it away. Wangane Millera mops up the footy and darts the kick outside to right half back to McRae, who can hand pass to Wood, who's going for a run down the City side wing of Docklands. Hand passes it across to Hasty, and he'll put it on his boot. It goes over the top of his intended target in Keeler. And Jack's there again. He's had a good opening term. And he intercepts the footy for the Hawks.
Wild Hasty's going at 0% by foot at the moment, according to official stats. So, but he's glass half full. He's getting the ball.
So Jack with his 7th possession of the first quarter kicks it long down the wing. It's Wood that'll mop it up and send it right back Jack's way for St Kilda. Owens can get a tap out and bring it to ground. Here comes Hall, who just shoves it on his boot from 70 metres out. It will bobble its way left post. At the last second, it just dribbled its way into that left padding of the post. It was so close to being an incredible goal. And instead, it's just a behind from Max Hall. And Hawthorn's lead just cut back to 9 points.
It's up to 9 possessions as a half forward purely, so that's a great effort. Wangane Miller is up to 12. Jack Sinclair on 12, Jeff with 7, and Jarman Impey with 7.
Right into the bottom of the left goalpost from Max Hall. He kicks St Kilda's opening goal. As the mark is taken at half back by D'Ambrosio, sends it long up the wing. Ramsden in the pack, spoiled away by Alex Taru, and it's seen out of play for a throw in. Hawthorn by 9 points, 2-5-17 to St Kilda 1-2-8. Hugo Garcia has gone to Jai Newcomb. Marcus Windhager has played across half forward in the early stages of this match. Thrown back in. Marshall up against Meek. Meek wins down the tap to the front. Windhager races after it. Gets there first to the Saints. Kicks across his body. Up towards Mitch Owens at half forward. And the siren sounds for quarter time. low-scoring affair, an arm wrestle early, but Hawthorn were able to take a couple of their chances, while St Kilda, despite having more inside 50s, couldn't quite capitalise at their end. The Hawks 2-5-17 to St Kilda 1-8. The goals for the Hawks coming through Jack Gunston and Nick Watson, while Max Hall was the goal kicker for the Saints. At the Gabba, still a minute to go there, but Brisbane have done the early running late in that first quarter. 8-3-51 to Port Adelaide, 3-2-20. There is an ABC call available on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the AFL Extra button if you are looking for that. Earlier today, Geelong prevailed by 72 points over the Tigers, 18-16, 124 to Richmond 7-10-52. Zach Guthrie got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Jeremy Cameron booted 4 goals, 5, while Ryle Mansell booted 3 goals for the Tigers. Richmond coach Adam Uze confirming in his press conference that Sam Lawler has suffered a hamstring injury, so having just returned from a previous hamstring injury, he missed 6 weeks and made his return against Geelong down at Canadian Park today. So not good signs for him, and Tom Lynch obviously on the sidelines for 5 weeks as well. Well, the Gold Coast Suns won here in Melbourne by 41 points earlier over the Bombers. 18-7, 115 to the Bombers, 11-8, 74. The Bombers got in front late in the third quarter, but the Suns answered strongly in the final term. Ben King booted 4 goals. Ethan Reid kicked 3, while Zach Merritt had 40 disposals for the Bombers. You can get in touch with us on the SMS 0437 774 774. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
The ABC Listen app has it all. The British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia, Wimbledon, and West Indies versus Australia. Oh, and did I mention we're doing the footy every weekend? ABC Sport on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
The Hawks trying to fight their way up the ladder and back inside the AFL's top 4, while the Saints are looking for a scalp. Can they take down a formidable side?
Jack was an inside 50. Taru had front position. It'll be a Marco to Big Ramsden. For Hawthorn, he plays on with the footy, moves it down into the forward pocket to find Gunston.
Well, the mark was impressive by Ramsden, but not as impressive as the kick out in front of Gunston for a big fella off the step. That was really well done.
Jack Gunston on his side to snap towards goal for the first one for the Hawks. There it is, second time lucky, and Gunston's got the first goal of the night.
Ramsden doing the rough work here, spills out. Paul, creative, made something out of nothing. On the move, jammed on his boot and puts through St Kilda's first. From half back, Angus Hastie turns it over, and it's taken by Carl Amon straight down the middle. He finds Nick Watson just inside 50, 40 metres out from goal, directly in front. Provided a contender for goal of the year last week, Nick Watson. This is more stock standard from 45 metres out. He comes in, and the Wizard is on the board early.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital,
and on the ABC Listen app.
The Hawks by 9 points at quarter time under the roof of Docklands. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Marnie Vinyl down on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard are your experts on ABC Sport. The Hawks took their chances, Berkey. The Saints couldn't quite do likewise.
They did. I'll go first. Chad's on his second pie. The Hawks did absolutely took their chances. Inside 50s were 13-10 in favour of the Saints. Through the middle of the ground, fairly even. Hawks looked far more dangerous going inside 50. If they didn't win the ball the first time, it stayed in there for a period of time, had some ball ups, looked really dangerous. Meek was doing really well in the ruck, and their small players were outstanding. The problem for the Saints is that Sharman, Keeler and Owens aren't going to outmark the Hawthorn defenders. And if the Saints go slow and end up bombing the ball in there, well, it's pretty much going to come straight back out again. The only way that they're going to score heavily enough to win this game is to take some chances, and they've got to give Higgins and Butler and Max Hall and their small forwards opportunity with the ball on the ground to run onto it and snag a few ugly goals. They're not going to take pretty ones like Gunston gets pretty goals because he leads at the right time, comes out and hits him on the chest. Saints aren't going to get those, so they've got to make it ugly inside forward 50 and keep numbers in there. For the Hawks, though, they look dangerous. As soon as the Saints lapse their defensive efforts around the footy slightly, they'll chain that handball out. And if I'm a Saints defender, I'm like a deer in the headlights because Gunston will lead at the right time to the right spot. if they got to kick it long, Joel's there for that big presence as well. And then they've got their small players. So they look really dangerous when they get that overlap run going. So really there's a way both sides can win this game. It's which one does it the best that will actually come out on top, Chad.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what's concerning a little bit, Mick, yes, he's had the hitouts. He's had 18 hitouts and St Kilda's had 9, so they're double the hitouts, but it's the ease of him for me. It's not like it's a contested hitout. He's actually getting a lot of body and he can actually put it wherever he wants. They're only up by 4 in the clearances, but that's one to watch for me, is that he looks very comfortable down there, which is not what you'd think for a ruckman that often, that they feel like they can have the space and time to put that ball wherever they want. That's a big concern for me. As you just mentioned, yes, the intercept marks, that's going to be a concern throughout this night. And St Kilda don't have the answer today with personnel. But do they have answers for ball movement? Maybe. They might be able to just change angles, like I said, take some risks to try and get a score. But for me, if I'm from a Hawthorn lens, which of course I am, I think they've left too many chances go astray. I think, for me, Gunston's looking... I know he had 6-7 last week. I think he had a couple of chances where he could have passed off and got a better shot. Wizard had a shot from 45. Dylan Moore was in a goal square. Yes, he kicked it, but there's small signs here that they smell an easy win and they smell like they can all get on the board. And for me, that's not a good sign for a good team that's trying to get into the top 4, that's trying to get to the end of the season. They need to make sure that they have the best shots available. And you watch Collingwood, they're the best at it. And that's the team to watch at the moment. But Hawthorn, a little bit of a lesson learned. Hopefully it's just 1/4 of it. But let's try and find the best opposition, best shots on goal.
Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke with their thoughts. Hawthorn by 9 points as we get the second quarter underway. Jack Steele tries to get a hand pass forward, going for Sinclair. It's Dylan Moore who kicks inside 50. Taru leads Ramsden to the footy. Gathers to St Kilda. Hand pass away to Windhager. Kicks a high ball up towards Hall. Spoiled away by Carl Amon from behind, and Hall's out of place. Kicks across his body and up the wing. Marley Vital on the boundary.
Just a quick one. Rowan Marshall's lower back seems to be giving him quite a bit of concern. The physio went straight to him at quarter time, and he seemed to be grimacing quite a lot when he was getting treatment.
Thanks, Barney. 13-11 the inside 50 St Kilda's way in that first quarter, but Hawthorn took 5 marks from their 11 inside 50s to St Kilda's 0. From the throw-in, McKenzie can't clear the congestion. His kick is smothered at the very bottom of the pack. Unable to knock it out as Jack McRae as he returns the ball to the umpire.
The umpire tosses it up. There is Marshall in the ruck for now as he taps it down. He's looking for Steele, who grabs it and hand passes well on his hands and knees across to Windhager. Touched off the boot and just bobble its way in the end across. Who was it? He's got absolutely bumped off the footy there. It's Higgins in the end who was slammed into and gets up now as the play's moved on down across close to the boundary at right half forward for St Kilda. The players will tie up on top of the footy for a ball up. Well, Higgins copped a very heavy bump there and went to turf, staying on the field. As the play went on, and it's a free kick from the stoppage downfield towards Newcombe. So Newcombe holding on to the footy at left half back. It is Hawthorn ahead by 9 points, early stages of this second term. Chips it across to Ginnivan. Ginnivan spins the ball in his hand. He's a little bit slow to play on before he can chip it to Jarman Impey, who's a metre or 2 in from the boundary line. He'll again has to wait. So St Kilda just holding up Hawthorn's defence before Impey will go long, right down to a pack that's forming. Meek brings it down. It's Higgins again who takes it. He's taken in another tackle right down to the turf. The ball will spill to Marshall, who has it, can hand pass it across to Hasty. Hand passes it to Clark, who kicks it across to Windhager. Marks it centre wing for St Kilda and wants to go for a run with the footy. Takes his distance and puts the kick out wide. It's too wide for a mark from Sharman, and it bounces over the boundary line for a throw-in inside attacking 50 for St Kilda.
Jack Higgins, poor little fella, he's been crunched twice in a row.
He's waddling down that forward line, isn't he, poor guy?
The second one was a tackle from John Newcombe. We're waiting for a replay for the first. Didn't quite see what it was, but the doctor initially jumped out and started to race out. He got back to his feet and ran away, Jack Higgins. So he's continued on.
If you're watching here, Keilor is actually taking Barris to the first row.
Yep.
The furthest pocket from this throw-in. So he's obviously trying to take him away from the equation. I've seen Gunston do this a few times down in Launceston, but he's really taking Barris away from the play. Trying to play with 17 on the field.
Yes. Barris just wants to play behind him because he knows he's strong enough to get him under the ball and take the contested mark.
Marshall swats it down, but it's James Warple on his return. Hand pass to Jarman Impey. His kick up towards Moore. Can't take the mark for the Hawks, and Winhager makes the spoil. It's locked up to the chest of Ward, and the umpire will board up. Hawthorn are in their yellow heritage jersey tonight, celebrated as part of the club's heritage. So yellow top, white shorts, and the brown HFC on the front, as opposed to their traditional darker brown one, which they've worn earlier in the season, while the Saints are in their traditional home strip, the black, the red and the white with the black shorts as well.
But Gray takes the footy out of the stoppage and just bobbles the ball down towards Owens, who shovels a hand pass away across to Higgins, who'll have a snap at goals, and he's offline to the right. He's been in the wars in the last couple of minutes, just couldn't finish off there, and it's just a minor score as Hawthorn now lead by 8.
That's what we call by ugly goals. Just get stoppages in the forward line, scrumble the ball forward, get a snap. They all count in the end.
Giaff looks to bring Hawthorn back into play. Kicks long towards Lloyd Meek. Taru flies in the pack. And offhands it goes out of play for a boundary throw in. Hawthorn 2-5-17 to St Kilda 1-3-9. The Hawks by 8 points. Early stages of the second quarter. Macklich and Lauren Borden calling the action. Marty Vinyl on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard, your experts. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. That's right. Marshall's been in the wars as well as Meek gets it down. Winhager squeezes a kick up towards half forward. McKenzie gathers to Hawthorn. Hand pass to battle to Connor Nash, who into a dead end is tackled by Winhager, and the umpire will ball it up.
You mentioned 100 years for Hawthorn in the competition. I've got some Saturday night trivia for you, Berkey and Chad. These two sides have played at 10 different venues across that 100 years, and I want you to name all 10 venues that they've played at since they started playing each other back in 1925. As Nash gets the footy and just clears it down the wing. Caminiti taps it down towards McRae. Worked off the footy well by Chol. Ward has a go at it and can hand pass it across to Warpool, who'll kick it very close to the boundary line looking for Ramsden. But it's taken over just between wing and half forward for the Hawks for a boundary throw in.
Will have to be the three obvious ones. It would be Marvel, MCG, and I'm assuming Utah's.
Yes, they didn't play at the MCG until 1971 in the semi-final there. So it was a long time till they got to the MCG, these two sides. Warpool skies a kick inside 50. Will go down and drop, but it's Wilson who can take it, hand pass it across to Clark, and he'll clear it out of defensive 50 towards Wood, who takes it at left half back for St Kilda.
So that's 3 of the 10. As he kicks up towards the wing, it's over the head of Cooper Sharman, and James Sicily gets back for Hawthorn. Hand pass to Barris, who chips it up the wing. Gunston down low, takes the mark in front of Hunter Clark. Between wing and half forward on the city side for Hawthorn, they lead by 8 points. Jack Gunston has kicked 1 goal, 2 so far tonight. As he looks long into the pocket, Marbiel Chol is the intended target. Long towards him, Taru in front. Chol takes the mark on the second bite. Didn't have a lot of room to leap, but just timed it superbly.
I love the swagger on Chol. He's taken the mark and he's dabbed up Nick Watson before kicking the goal. He's just gone over, taken about 4 steps, dabbed him up and said, "Oh, how good was that? I'm about to kick this goal."
Taru flying in front, Cal Wilkie from behind, and Marbiel Chol in his 100th game takes Hawthorn's 6th mark inside forward 50. St Kilda are yet to take one so far tonight. So a bit tighter than a 45-degree angle in the right forward pocket. In game 100 for Marbiel Chol. A slow start as he comes in. Pokes at this and misses to the left-hand side. A minor score. Hawthorn by 9 points. Marty Vinyl on the boundary.
Jack Higgins has come off and gone straight down to the rooms with the doctor. We know he got those 2 heavy hits, so just sussing that out.
Thanks, Marnie. So keep us posted on Jack Higgins, who's gone down into the rooms with the doctors. They look like they're trying to get him off, and then we're finally able to get him to bring him down to the rooms as Wanganeen Miller brings it in and just goes for a run right to the top of the 50 for St Kilda for a clearing kick. Keeler will get front position, but there is Barris right behind him, who'll punch it out of play for a boundary throwing in front of that St Kilda bench.
The Saints' lack of height down back. Alex Taru has to take Max Ramsden, and I reckon he's giving away a good foot in height, but he's third tall. Saints don't have anyone else.
Two rucks jostle for position, and Nick tries to go in after it. Warpool can just get a boot away. Nash tries to pick it up and gather it for the Hawks. Can't pull it out of a pack that's forming. Warpool goes in there to try and help it out. There's about 7 players over the top of the footy for a boundary throwing at centre wing. You've given me 3 venues.
Straight away, I'm going to give you Moorabbin, Junction Oval, Glenferrie and Princess Park.
That's 4.
You got Junction, Moorabbin.
Yeah, there's one in
Glenferrie and Princess Park.
These are good ones. You've got some of the tougher ones, or the smaller venues.
Yep.
Where was the COVID? That's the one. It has to be Sydney. No, it's not that.
Now just hang on, Mason Luke's been taken over the boundary line by Josh Battle. James Sicily's in to Marcus Windhager. There's a bit of pushing and shoving as the umpire has to try and separate them in front of the two benches. Wood looks into the middle of the ground. Hasty takes the mark, cuts around Ginneman up to Max Hall. Marks at the edge of the centre square. Saints have found a bit of fight as Hall into the pocket looking for Kilda. It's over his head. And Josh Battle takes the mark in the left back pocket for Hawthorn. Chips it over the top to Ward. Marty Vinyl on the boundary.
That scuffle happened right in front of me. I almost missed Jack Higgins emerging from the rooms. He's back on the bench and he looks okay.
Who instigated it, Marty?
Oh, I had my eye on Higgins.
So, of course, Josh Battle playing as his former side for the first time tonight. Plenty of spirit for the Hawthorn fans who have come along, despite it being a St Kilda home game. And Hardwick in the back pocket for the Hawks. Sends it long up towards Gunston. Wilkie in front, palms it down. Warple on the move. Took possession, tackled, didn't get a disposal away, and the umpire will ball it up on the wing. So what do we go up to? Was there seven?
We've got seven.
Venues
We've got
named?
7 of 10.
Of the 10?
Adelaide Oval.
No Adelaide Oval. No gather-round meeting for these two.
I thought it might have been from the COVID.
Oh,
We
from
must
the
have played them at
There is a COVID time one.
Skoda.
I'm not good with brand names.
That's G2S.
Sydney Showgrounds?
Sydney Showground,
Yes.
no. So another ball up on the outer side of the ground. You're on the right path here. And there's another major ground.
Where do we play
Ken
them?
in Sandy is throwing one up, which I think is right.
I'm going New Zealand.
No, they didn't play in New Zealand, but
Oh,
good
that's
guess.
the one Ken threw up. I thought that was right.
Ramsden with the footy. It's centre half forward. Just will chip it. Centre half back, rather. Will chip it backwards towards Battle. And you can hear the jeers of the crowd as he chips it across to Hardwick, who holds onto the footy in the left back pocket. It's Hawthorn ahead by 9 points. 2-6 playing 1-3. And we'll share it with Sicily right in the back, in the goal square. So he chips it out wide towards Impey, who can mark at right half back. Urges his teammates to come forward to him. Kicks down to a pack. Meek was at the back. Just punches it down. It's Caminiti who has a go. Hand passes it to Marshall. Will then hand pass it across to Windhager, who's tracking back before kicking it forward to Wanganeen Miller. Takes the footy in. Hand passes it back towards Caminiti, who hand passes to Garcia, who's in all sorts of trouble. A couple of Hawks around him, tackling to the ground. It's all a little bit scrappy and messy until Jack Steele picks it up, can hand pass it to Hall. Centre of Dockland Stadium. He'll put St Kilda inside 50. Just misses the mark on Keeler. And it's Battle that wins that battle in the end. And he hand passes it away to Bassimo D'Ambrosio, who just scrubs a kick to centre wing, where Tauru will pick it up for St Kilda and see if they can move it forward.
He runs on it with a hand pass to Butler and now to Henry. Turns inboard. Hugo Garcia. Hand pass to Butler in game 150. He fires on goal and drifts to the left-hand side. A minor score. Pippa Sharman was on the goal line trying to get a hand to it against Jarman Impey. Through for a minor score. Hawthorn by 8 points, 11 minutes gone, second quarter. We haven't had a goal so far in this second term. Meanwhile, at the Gabba, it's the Brisbane Lions 9-5-59 to Port Adelaide 3-3-21 after the Lions booted 8 goals to 3 in the first quarter. So just one goal Brisbane's way so far in that second quarter.
For the Saints to win this, they have to make it a scrap, and that's what they've done so far in this second quarter. It's not pretty football, but boy, it's been played the way the Saints need it to be played.
They made it a bit of a scrap against Collingwood a couple of weeks ago, and it worked for them for the 3 quarters as they go back inside 50 for Wanganeen Miller, who chips to the pocket into a pack where Battle wins out. Good kick as he flares it to the outer side of the ground towards Hardwick. And the Saints will try and work it down the outer edge and the outer wing, although the kick is out of bounds on the full, looking for Morrison.
You don't see that very often from Blake Hardwick. He's one of the most reliable kicks in the back half.
And so it's Windhager with the free kick. He'll just chip it backwards towards Wilkie at centre wing. As she mentioned, no goal yet in this second term. We've played 12 minutes. And it's Hawthorn by 8 points as Wilkie will dab the kick just to the top of the 50 towards Wood. Can't mark, spills down. It'll be a free kick for Wood. Just a little push in the back. And a free kick towards Wood, who chips backwards towards Windhager, who will want to reload now on the kick here. The hot spot inside 50. Tauru flying. He lives up to his name as the Flying Viking and comes into the pack and holds on to the mark high above his head. Beautiful mark flying over his teammates and opponents alike.
No one wants to stand a mark. So that wasn't on my head. I didn't want to defend him. I'm not standing a mark.
If he's going to take marks like that, get him in the forward line.
Yeah, who needs spoils? Who needs spoils? 14 spoils. Let's take the mark.
Straight away, you're thinking, get him up there, let him do that.
That's exciting.
Alex Tauru on the approach now. to ease it towards goals, and he'll remain without an AFL goal. He just pushes this one too far to the left. But a beautiful mark from Alex Taru in just his third game. 13 minutes played, Hawthorn by 7.
He's saving that goal for down the other end where all the Viking hats are, because they're going to erupt if he kicks it down that end.
Well, that's the first mark the Saints have taken inside 50 all day. It came from a defender. So it shows you how well they're going up there. Get him up there.
Carl Lehman for the Hawks out of defence, up towards the wing. Ramsden's out positioned and it's brought down by Caminiti. Marty Vinyl on the boundary.
Now it's Jimmy Webster who's had to go down to the Saints' rooms. It's a right calf that's bothering him.
Thanks, Marty. Jack Higgins was right to return after being in the wars after a couple of big tackles. Hard against the boundary line. Hugo Garcia chopped off, and John Newcomb might have got one high here. The umpire spotted it. A free kick going the way of the Hawks. Centre wing on the dock side. As Newcomb wants to try and move it quickly. Chol was on his own. It's a poor kick. Turns it straight over. Alex Taru takes the mark. So doing it at both ends. After an impressive mark inside forward 50. Now he has it across half back. A flying Viking, as he's been dubbed in his underage footy.
Yep.
Out of the Warrigal Blues, he chips it across to Wilson, and like Berkey said, look out, because it was Mackenzie coming across to punch it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
I was worried about Marby old Chol lurking behind him and the umpire calling play
Saints
on.
need to help him out, though. There was no movement off the ball. Like, he didn't want to kick down the line. That's not their game plan. And no one's moving to help him for an easy kick.
Throw in centre-half forward for Hawthorn. It's Ramsden and Owens in the ruck, and the palm will come down towards Garcia, but it's a free kick going to Nash of the Hawks. Nash has it. Still a couple of kicks from goal for the Hawks. It's 2-6 playing 1-5 in this match. So Nash loads up on the kick. It'll get to a pack where Taru is at the front. He spills the chest mark. It bounces off his chest. Comes to ground. And it'll be a ball up inside 50 though for Hawthorn. As Newcomb gets up off the bottom of the pack.
They are hard to take. I hate taking chest marks. He should take them in the air. He's got some really good hands. You should just put them in the midst.
Ramsden taps it down straight to McDonald, who's wrapped up the moment he gets it. And it's another ball up 40 metres out from the Hawks' goal. They're holding on to a 7-point lead. It hasn't got beyond 9 points the margin so far in this game.
Well, stuck at the bootlaces of a couple of players. Mitch Owens tries to wrestle it clear with Jai Newcomb down on all fours, competing with him. So the umpire will ball it up. 40 metres out from Hawthorn's goal. Ramsden wins it down. Clark through traffic. Tackle dispossessed. Umpire says holding the ball. Hunter Clark trying to jag it onto his boot in congestion. In the end, failed to make contact. Team holding the footy. Ward takes the free kick into the pocket. Watson marks, and Winhager comes crashing into him. And he claimed the mark in the left forward pocket. No 50. And Watson will get a chance to try and weave his magic in the left forward pocket. Kick one with a stock standard drop punt in the first quarter. He looks to try and start across on the angle. Kick across his body. Nick Watson, 35 metres out. He hits the fat part of the footy. It goes right across the face of goal. Flying in the packet, spoiled in the end. And Mason Wood, free kick for high contact or a shepherd. It's going Hawthorn's way. Ross Lane is bemused on the monitor as he's writing something on a bit of paper which probably can't be said. And
another letter.
Jack Ginnivan is going to have the shot on goal in the right forward pocket for Hawthorn. So Watson in the left forward pocket couldn't capitalise. Now it's Ginnivan in the right. 6 disposals and a signer earlier in the match. As he looks to kick across his body, the Saints players are lined up 15 metres away, ready to charge in. As soon as the umpire calls play on, steps out, snaps across his body, and Jack Ginnivan with a goal celebration. Hawthorn have the first of the second quarter, which comes 17 minutes in. An arm wrestle since then. But the Hawks do extend their lead out to the biggest lead of the match so far. 3-6-24 to St Kilda 1-5-11. Meanwhile, at the Gabba, it's the Brisbane Lions 9-6-60, leading Port Adelaide 4-3-27. Second quarter action there. The thoughts of Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard, your experts. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, Jack Ginnivan just used his experience then.
Yeah.
He was against young Hasty. He got himself into a bit of a wrestle, loops the arm up over his shoulder.
Unnecessary, yeah.
And unnecessary, but I had to instruct Chad that ball umpires are no good.
I didn't comment.
I nearly fell off my chair on the boundary last week, Berkey, when you said the umpiring has been good.
I've added to umpires who wear headbands are no good either. Don't wear a headband, umpire.
Marty Vinyl on the boundary.
Jimmy Webster's been subbed out.
So Jimmy Webster with a injury, as Marnie mentioned a little bit earlier on. Subbed out for Brad Hill in the second quarter. Thanks, Marnie, as the ball's tossed up in the centre. And it's Garcia who can hand pass it across to Windhager, who sends a grubby kick inside 50. Sicily mops it up, hand passes it away. Stolen by Windhager. Hill snaps towards goal, and Hill puts this one through. Windhager crumbs, does the hard work and gets the result. And St Kilda reply almost immediately to Hawthorn. And that lead is cut back to 7 points Hawthorn's way. 3-6-24 playing St Kilda, 2-5-17. And after not having a goal until the 16-minute mark of the second term, we've had 2 in 2 minutes. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Berkey, you wonder why there's no marks inside forward 50 for St Kilda when I reckon every second kick has been like that. It's been a grubber, or it's missed their opponent over their head, I reckon 4 times, gone to battle. And I reckon if it hasn't gone over the head, it's gone in front of them. But they're missing kicks by 5-6 metres, and that one's missed by 10. But they've got to make up for it. You're talking about being in a hunt and putting effort over execution. That's how they're going to win this game. And Windhager had the missed kick, followed up, and it was a beautiful finish because that kick out goal was much better than his kick inside 450. But that's been too far in between, I suppose, their kicks, because it's just a skill execution. There's just a big gap in these two teams, but good on them for keeping at it. And another thing for me, their hit-outs is 29-14, but Hawthorn are only 4 up in the clearance, so they're fighting in there.
Bounce is recalled. Meek up against Marshall, spills out the way of the Saints. Steele gets the hand pass from Hunter Clark, drives a kick inside 50. Sicily makes the spoil, bounces away from Battle. It's knocked on by Butler towards the teeth of goal. Cooper Sharman tackled and brought down by Jarman Impey. And the umpire will ball it up 25 metres out from St Kilda's goal.
Great tackle.
That was a great tackle. Should have been on the ball.
Sicily thought it should have been. He was doing the umpiring as well. It's a great tackle though. Marshall taps it down. Higgins thought he was taken to the back, but the umpire agrees. Against James Sicily.
Where's the comments on the umpires when it goes this way?
In fact, it was Cam McKenzie who fell into his back.
Absolutely, in the back all day long.
Cam McKenzie, not James Sicily. I've been caught by Sicily with his arm gesturing a few times. Higgins, who's been in the wars in the second quarter, wastes no time, cuts onto his left and puts through St Kilda's second goal in quick succession. Hawthorn's lead cut to a point after they got up by 13 points after the Kinnaman goal. 17-minute mark, 3 minutes later, the Saints have booted 2 straight goals. 3-6-24 Hawthorn, St Kilda 3-5-23. After a Dow contest, all of a sudden some goals quickly scored. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard, your experts. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Your last comments were spot on, Chad, in that Meek won the hit out quite easily, but it was the Saints who actually got on the end of it. An easy clearance by Marshall, ends up with it, bangs the ball inside 50, caused a stoppage, caused the ball up. Impey was really stiff not to get a free kick. It was an outstanding tackle against Sharman, but you make the most of it. And then Jack Higgins on the move. It's basic football. It's tough football, but that's the way the Saints have to play.
So just a point in it now. Hawthorn still leading by that fine margin as the ball is tossed up and it's brought to ground, and it'll be a pile-on just outside of the 2 centre circles.
It's really amazing, honestly, what Saints are doing. It's 31-15 hit-outs. They're minus 16, but they're only minus 2 in clearances. They really are fighting in there.
Morrison takes the footy. He's taken in a tackle by Wilson the moment he gets it. There'll be another ball up in the centre of the field. I'm still waiting on my 3 other venues that these 2 sides have played at.
Can you confirm whether the game was played in the COVID season?
So Marshall inside 50. Owens taps it down towards Butler. He's ran down in the tackle. It's a strong tackle and it's holding the ball.
You finally got it, Jazzy.
Jarman Impey wins the footy. And Butler just has to hand it back to him. And Jarman Impey will have the footy now deep in defence. It was COVID times.
Perth Oval.
No. Where was the grand final played a few years ago? Not Perth, the other one.
Oh, in the Gabba.
Close. But
Carrara.
Metro. Carrara, there we go. So ball at centre wing. It's Gunston who takes the footy and will kick right to the top of the 50. Looking for more. He's chasing after it. He's close to the boundary line. He taps it in to keep it in. He's not quite
It's 2 more.
able to do that. And it'll be a boundary throw inside forward 50 for Hawthorn. They're leading by 1 point, 22 minutes played in the second. There's 2 more.
So the question was asked, these 2 sides have played off at 10 venues in VFL AFL history. MCG, Docklands, Launceston, Waverley, Glenferrie Oval, Moorabbin, the Gold Coast. And this one, what was the other one?
Junction Oval.
Junction. So we're up to 8 of the 10. If you want to join us, 0437 774 774. Free kick going the way of the Hawks. Tackle on Hunter Clark, pinned holding the footy. And the free kick is going to go the way of Connor McDonald, pretty much directly in front, 35 metres out from goal. Hunter Clark just brought down in the tackle, had a couple of chances to try and get the hand pass away. And the second time, McDonald dragged him down and won a free kick. So for all the Saints, good work at the other end, a chance for Hawthorn to bounce back. Connor McDonald comes in, fires it on goal, and makes no mistake. 2 quick goals by the Saints. The answering goal from the Hawks. They're back in front by 7 points, 4-6-30 to St Kilda 3-5-23. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Marnie Vinyl down on the boundary. The thoughts of Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, Chad, what the Saints are doing, and it's working for them so far this quarter, is their 3 small forwards are coming right up to the contest, and they're just congesting it and clogging up that contest, and it's been working pretty well for them. The Hawks haven't been able to get any clean ball movement inside forward 50. Gunston hasn't been a factor because there's no free ball through the middle. Yeah. The goals that they've got have come from like that, a free kick in congestion. So this plan of Ross Lyons of bringing Hall, of bringing Higgins, of bringing Butler right up into the play has been working for them. But, you know, you're tough. You win a good, tough free kick and you kick a goal.
24 minutes played in the second term, and it's Hawthorn going again. Newcomb with the centre break, inside 50, ball spills at the back of the pack. Here's the Wizard Watson, slams it through from close range. That's 2 in a row for the Hawks, and they push their lead out to 13 points in a matter of minutes. It's been 5 straight goals as well after a little bit of a slow start to this second term. But Hawthorn's lead now 13 points, 5-6-36, playing St Kilda 3-5-23. 25 minutes gone in the second. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard.
And this is what we haven't seen from Hawthorn. Any fast play that haven't seen getting out of the front of stoppages. That was a centre bounce there. And to try and get out of the front of stoppage makes a huge difference because it's a deeper entry. You can't intercept that. It lands about 20 metres out, and Watson, you can't keep up with him. You can't get a body on him. You need to, because as soon as he crumbs out, no one's quicker than in the game at this point in Watson running towards goal. So,
and I don't want to pick on young Hasty, but he just got completely lost in that ball coming in. He lost the player, he lost the ball, and was in no man's land.
Back in the middle, Meek wins down the tap. Hand pass from Warple, chopped off by St Kilda though, and away goes Hugo Garcia. Hand pass forward to Hall, to the run away, and Miller from 45. He's hurried towards his kick and misses to the right-hand side. Had to speed up, just couldn't quite steady and finish. Hawthorn's lead is 12 points at the 26-minute mark of the second quarter.
You've got to take all those sort of chances.
That's a tough kick, isn't it? Running full pace, and it's directly in front of you. You can't get any sort of angle on your foot. That was a good chase by Josh Ward because he's not the most fastest player. He's chasing Wangini Malira, so it's a great effort there.
By Ramsden over the top of Meek, Caminiti and Marshall.
He's looking good, isn't he?
Swinging the kick there, yes. To Ramsden, who marked it above everyone. He holds on to the footy at left half back, gets distance on his kick, and he'll kick it to the next pack. It bounces behind everyone. And in the end, it's McRae that can pick it up. Hand pass to Clark, who flicks it across to Henry. He tried to find Butler, who couldn't quite brother it. Warple came for the Hawks. Hand pass across, finds Amon, and he'll put Hawthorn back inside 50. Watson will have to chase it down for the Hawks. Wilkie gets there first. Watson does do the chasing, pulls down Wilkie onto the turf. But it will be a stoppage inside forward 50 and a ball up just a couple of metres out from goal. Hawthorn leading by 12 points late stages of the second.
It's like getting a Berkey conversation with the umpire there, Watson.
Throw it up, Meek, Marshall taps it down towards Henry, slaps it away, got it to Wangini Miller. His kick drifts towards the boundary line and just lands in the field of play. Jarman Impey has the arms outstretched and he's going to get the whistle. Insufficient intent.
Umpire, he's kicked it 65 metres down the field.
It also should be points for the fact that the ball looked like it was going out of play and managed to stay in, although Sicily has turned it over, trying to chip a ball to Jaff. It's chipped off by Cooper Sharman. The Saints can go quickly. Kicks out in front of Brad Hill, the sub. He keeps possession as he chips it over the top to Butler in game 150. 75 metres out from goal, left half forward. He cuts back in on his right. Long kick looking for Mitch Owens. Jarman Impey makes the spoil. Jaff taps it down, but straight to Higgins. Hand pass to Owens. Great smother from Battle. It spills out and Keeler lays the tackle on Josh Ward. 35 metres out from St Kilda's goal. Hawthorn by 12 points.
That was a fast break by Saints, probably the fastest all day, and Hawks still had 11 players back inside their defensive 50. They just transitioned so well.
So ball gets tapped down and it's Hall that holds on to it, and it'll be another ball up in the same position, 35 metres out from St Kilda goal. As Meek just taps it down. There's Hall again roving, can hand pass it across to Owens, who shoves it on his left boot, but he had to kick quickly and without getting a clear aim at goal, so it's bounced over and for a throw-in just next to the right behind post.
It's funny, that's as insufficient attempt as
the other
down
one.
the field.
Because it's a shot at goal,
50, it doesn't count.
Umpire to swing the ball back in, doing the ruck work as well inside 50 as the ball comes down, but it's cleared away by Jack, who gets it outside of defensive 50 for Hawthorn, and it's McDonald that takes it, shoves it on his boot and just gets plenty of distance in the Gunston direction. He has to take on two. He wins one against Tasty. He doesn't win the battle against Wilkie, who takes him to the turf, locks him up, and it'll be a ball up right in front of the Hawthorn interchange bench. The Hawks have a 12-point lead. They've kicked the last 2 goals of the game, and are leading 5-6 to 3-6.
Saints got back within a point, but Hawthorn have answered since then. Marshall wins it down to Steele. Hand pass to Wangane Millerer to Jack McRae. Screwed around his shoulder up towards half forward. Jones can't get a run at it, and James Sicily takes the intercepting mark. In front of Cooper Sharman, the Hawthorn captain, who makes his return, having missed the last 4 since last playing against the Magpies. The kick up towards the wing, and Lloyd Meakin a show of strength. Gets rid of Rowan Marshall and takes the mark. Hand pass around the side to Massimo D'Ambrosio. Inside 50, Newcomb just got tackled underneath the footy. Was held as well against Brad Hill. The umpire spotted that. He sort of jumped up towards the ball, knowing full well he couldn't get any impact on it, and the umpire spotted that.
The Saints keeps forward. Cooper Sharman, 1 kick. Keeler, no kicks at all. Mitch Owens, 2 kicks. Just not getting the hands on it. The Hawthorn key defenders are just completely blanketing them.
Jai Newcomb, who is the engine in the Hawthorn midfield, looking to try and strike here. He scored the 3 Brownlow votes when these 2 sides met last year. On a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out from goal, a pump of the fist as he sends it through for another goal for the Hawks. 3 goals on the bounce since St Kilda got back within a point. And the biggest lead in the match, 18 points at the 30-minute mark of the second quarter. 6-6-42, the Hawks to St Kilda 3-6-24. Meanwhile at the Gabba, Port Adelaide put on 2 goals, get back within 3 goals, but it's Brisbane 9-7-61, leading Port Adelaide 6-5-41. Second quarter action there. A call is available on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the AFL extra button. Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke with you.
And that was a blatant free kick by Bradley Hill there. He pushed him, had no right to. And like I said, Jai's just a scary opponent to have when he goes down and arrests forward, almost like a Bontempelli type of setup. But Lloyd Meek is another one I want to talk about. That was a beautiful mark, and they're just putting him against Marshall and just winning that contest. I mean, 33 hitouts to Marshall's 18, and that tough mark there, and then played on quickly to give the Hawthorns forwards the best opportunity to get a mark.
It's back in the middle, socket off the ground, and the ball will bobble its way across to left half forward for St Kilda, where it'll be taken by Hardwick. He hand passes to Morrison, hand passes to Amon, goes underground back to Morrison, who puts it on his boot this time to get it across to centre wing. Chol takes the mark, it's off the boot, so has to play on as he kicks it across to Newcomb, and the siren sounds to mark half-time here at Dockland Stadium. It is Hawthorn leading by 18 points. So St Kilda got within 1 point with a Jack Higgins goal, the 20-minute mark of the second term, but then it was 3 straight goals to Hawthorn to end the term and lead by 18 points. It is Hawthorn 6-6-42, leading St Kilda 3-6-24. The goal kickers so far tonight, 3 individual for St Kilda, 1 to Higgins, 1 to Windhager and 1 to Max Hall. Well, for the Hawks, it is Nick Watson who has a couple, and then Ginnivan, McDonald, Gunston and Newcomb each with singles. But Hawthorn ahead by 18 at half-time, Clinchy.
The thoughts of Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke, 4-2 the way of the Hawks in that second quarter.
Yeah, and Hawthorn just really flexed their muscle in that last 10 minutes or so. They started to get on top of a bit of the clearance, just getting forward of the centre. You think about the inside 50s now, they're still only 18-25 in favour of St Kilda, and which, again, we spoke about how there's no marks inside forward 50 for St Kilda. There's 1 mark inside forward 50 compared to 7 for Hawthorn. So it's not. I know you're blaming the forwards here, and rightly so. They're not putting themselves in great positions. But the kicks inside forward 50 is what I want to speak about as well. I think Kilda, I've seen the ball land at his toes 5 metres in front of him about 4 times. I've seen it go over his head about 4 times as well. So yes, some of it's the forwards not living up and winning their one-on-one battles, but the kicks inside forward 50 really needs some work, and that's just skill execution from St Kilda, and just that's either confidence or just not enough reps or just not enough talent or not enough emphasis at training of kicks inside forward 50. Because if they're winning the hard-nosed stuff, the effort battle, which you want to hope for a team that's on a bottom 9 of the scales at the moment of the ladder. If you're winning that every week and you're losing it to skill, that's okay. But at some point, you need to make sure that you're working on the skills and seeing improvement, because tonight, for me, they're just not enough times executing their by foot. And what do you do as a footballer? You kick every single day. So it's not like I can't bail them out. I just can't bail them out. They're not getting pressure on them. Some of the times they're getting kicking side forward 50. There's 2 elite kicks out there for me. Nazai Wanganeen-Milera, he looks above and beyond, probably above everyone on both sides, if I'm being honest. He looks unbelievable out there. Sinclair, for me, is another great ball user, but we haven't seen enough of him because he's so far in the back line that he doesn't kick it inside forward 50. But when you got Windhager, who's butchering it in the forward lines, you got some of the guys that are Garcia, the guys that are kicking inside forward 50. Max Hall's another one for me. He's actually looking really good with ball in hand. But tonight, he hasn't quite hit a target, but he looks at the right things. I'm watching him, and he's actually looking at the right targets and right spaces for me. There's not enough of those as half-forwards for me.
You look at the Hawks, they're top 5 possession getters. Battle with 15, Giath with 12, Sicily with 12, Impey with 12, Hart with 10. It's all their defenders. And they're just setting the game up so well from that half-back line. But then you look down the bottom end. So Joel's only had 3, but he's looked dangerous. He's doing his job, and he's kicked those 2 behinds. McDonald's only had 5, but he's got himself a goal. Gunston didn't have a lot of it that quarter, but again, he's got himself on the scoreboard, and Moore's always dangerous. Ramsden's only had the 4, but he's actually pretty good. He's taken some good contested marks when he needed to. So in terms of a team effort, you're getting much more of a team effort out of the Hawks than what you are with the Saints, because the Saints, the bottom end of the Saints, really aren't having much of an effect on the game, either offensively or defensively. And when they are getting it, they're more likely to turn it over rather than maintain possession. So in terms of the old under-12s, you write down the best players. For Hawks, you probably put team effort. Whereas the Saints, you got Wanganeen-Milera, Windhager and Hall sort of as standouts, and then you've got the rest. So it's just where the Saints are at the moment. And when Ross Lyon talks about the youth and getting better and showing signs and all that sort of stuff, that's what he's looking at. He's looking at those blokes when they actually have an impact on the game and when they don't. And tonight, that bottom 6 or 7 really aren't having the impact.
Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard with their assessments to half-time. Hawthorn have kicked 5 of their 6 goals from set shots. And the Saints with just 1 of their 3. Hawthorn by 18 points at half-time here at Docklands. While the Gabba, it's the Brisbane Lions who lead by 21 points, 9-8-62 to Port Adelaide, 6-5-41. The Power did get off to a promising start with the first 2 goals, but the Brisbane Lions did get out by 38 points in that second quarter. We'll pause for the moment and bring you the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. Victorian police continue to search for one man in relation to attempted arson at a synagogue in Melbourne last night. Samantha Johnshaw has more.
Witnesses say a Shabbat dinner at the East Melbourne Hebrew congregation was interrupted just after 8 o'clock last night when a ring of the synagogue's doorbell and smoke alerted them to a fire burning in the building's doorway. The 20 congregants left and no one was injured, but witnesses say the incident has left them shaken.
Very big night, very scary.
Emergency services extinguished the blaze, and detectives say they want to speak to one man, who they have clear images of in relation to the incident, and are urging anyone with information to come forward.
Ukraine's military says its forces have struck an airbase inside Russia, calling it the home base of key Russian fighter jets. It says its forces hit a depot containing glide bombs, a training aircraft and possibly other aircraft. Russian officials have not immediately commented on the attack. Meanwhile, Ukraine says Russian forces have fired more than 300 drones and decoys at Ukrainian targets in their latest attack. Police in the US say at least 24 people are being killed by flash flooding in southern Texas, while a frantic search goes on for others missing, including more than 20 girls from a summer camp. The flooding occurred after a storm brought torrential rainfall that sent floodwaters spilling out of the Guadalupe River. Officials say more than 230 people have been rescued, most of them by helicopter. The Rail, Tram and Bus Union in New South Wales is welcoming the signing of a landmark pay agreement between the state governments and rail unions. Rail workers will now receive a 12% pay increase over 3 years, including back pay. Sydney's rail network has been plagued with industrial action due to months of stalled negotiations between the state government and unions. Toby Warnes from the RTBU's New South Wales branch says he's glad the agreement could be finalised.
It's obviously been a very trying bargain with some very hot language used by both parties, but we're really glad that we've been able to get this bargain over the line.
Tourists may soon have greater access to the Northern Territory's Kakadu National Park, 6 years after a federally funded road program was first announced. Samantha Dick has the details.
A $70 million federal funding package announced in 2019 promised to upgrade roads leading to campsites at Jim Jim Falls, Maguk, Gimbat, Gunlom and Kubara to improve road safety and reduce closures during the tourist season. The first tender is due to open next week, following the long-awaited reopening of Gunlom Falls following a dispute between traditional owners and Parks Australia over damage to a sacred site. In a statement, Federal Infrastructure Minister Catherine King says the road upgrades will help drive tourism at Kakadu National Park, which typically attracts up to 200,000 tourists each year. The works will be staged over a 2-year period between 2025 and 2027.
British rock band Oasis has performed for the first time in 16 years. 74,000 people turned out to see them at Cardiff in Wales as they kicked off a global reunion tour. The crowd sang along to hits that defined the Britpop era of the 1990s, including Champagne Supernova, Wonderwall and Roll With It. A Sydney man who scored a podium finish in Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest in New York City says he's glad it's all over. 36-year-old James Webb downed 45.5 hot dogs in just 10 minutes, earning third place behind winner and 17-time champion Joey Jaws Chestnut, who devoured 70.5. Mr. Webb says training for the event was gruelling.
To be honest, training has been pretty crazy. Like, obviously, eat more to eat more. So grill up a bunch of hot dogs, line them up and set the timer and off you go. But, yeah, it's been a crazy month of every second day eating hot dogs. And to be honest, like, I'm kind of glad it's over for another year.
In other news, China has spared major cognac producers from hefty duties on EU brandy as trade tensions simmer between Brussels and Beijing over European tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. The Chinese Commerce Ministry says Beijing will levy duties of up to 35% for 5 years on brandy from the EU. However, most of France's cognac industry will be exempt, provided they sell at what the ministry calls a minimum price. And in AFL, Geelong has thrashed Richmond by 72 points in Geelong. ABC News.
Don't miss a minute of the action. Live from Wimbledon. On now.
Take it with you on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Kick across his body. Nick Watson, 35 metres out. He hits the fat part of the footy and goes right across the face of goal. Flying in the back and spoiled in the end. And Mason Wood, free kick for high contact or a Shepherd. It's going Hawthorn's way. Jack Kinnaman is going to have the shot on goal in the right forward pocket for Hawthorn. So as soon as the umpire calls play on, steps out, snaps across his body, and Jack Kinnaman with the goal celebration. Hawthorn have the first of the second quarter, which comes 17 minutes in.
Grubby kick inside 50. Sicily mops it up, hand passes it away. Stolen by Windhager. He'll snap towards goal and he'll put this one through. Windhager crumbs, does the hard work and gets the result. And St Kilda applying almost immediately to Hawthorn.
Marshall taps it down. Higgins thought he was taken to the back, and the umpire agrees. Higgins, who's been in the wars in the second quarter, wastes no time, cuts onto his left and puts through St Kilda's second goal in quick succession.
24 minutes played in the second term, and it's Hawthorn going again. Newcomb with the centre break inside 50. Ball spills at the back of the pack. Here's the Wizard. Watson slams it through from close range. That's 2 in a row for the Hawks.
To Massimo D'Ambrosio, inside 50, Newcomb just got tunnelled underneath the footy, was held as well against Brad Hill. The umpire spotted that. Giant Newcomb going to try and strike here. He scored the 3 Brownlow votes when these two sides met last year. On a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out from goal, a pump of the fist as he sends it through for another goal for the Hawks. 3 goals on the bounce since St Kilda got back within a point.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Half-time at Docklands, round 17 of the AFL. It's the Hawks who lead St Kilda by 18 points, 6-6-42. The Saints 3-6-24. The Hawks booted 4 goals to 2 in that second quarter, having led by 9 points at quarter time. Matt Glitch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Marnie Vinyl is with you down on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard, your experts on ABC Sport. It is a time of the year where there is so much taking place, and we have it all covered for you on the ABC Listen app. So Wimbledon continues tonight. Coverage, of course, available there on the ABC Listen app. You might have to just dial through the various buttons to find what you're looking for, given the offers on offer. So the cricket continues tonight. Australia will resume at 2 for 12 after posting 286 in their first innings. The West Indies all out for 253. So day 3, Australia leading by 45 runs. So coverage on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the ABC Sport button, in which, unfortunately, from an Australian point of view, Sam Constance was out cheaply once more, and Usman Khawaja as well. So coverage could continue with Cameron Green on 6 and Nathan Lyon, the night watchman, on 2. Also available on the ABC Listen app. Of course, we have the footy tonight on the AFL button for the coverage between St Kilda and Hawthorn, and of course the Brisbane Lions and Port Adelaide, in which the Lions lead by 21 points at half-time. Did get out by over 30 points, 9-8-62 to Port Adelaide 6-5-41. Also available the NRL on the ABC Sport button tonight. That's where the cricket you will find. And then on the ABC Sport Extra button tonight, coverage of Wimbledon. We've also got the match between the Wallabies and Fiji in Newcastle tomorrow. So Zane Bojack will be a part of our call team, the British and Irish Lions tour. And of course, Joe Schmidt in charge of the Wallabies, and the Matildas unfortunately going down 1-0 in their match against Panama a little bit earlier. So Joe Montemira in his second game as the national coach of the women's football side, but going down in a bit of a surprise loss there earlier tonight in Western Australia. No shortage of talking points from that first half. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard. For Saints fans, they would have liked the flash of blonde as Alex Tarou went forward and took a good mark. Do you think he's going to be more dangerous as a forward with no Max King for the Saints in the second half of the season? Do they experiment between throwing him forward at various stages?
Well, I'm just sitting here with my little record, marking off. Now, Ross Lyon has never been one to throw up the magnets and try a few things. But for me, Darcy Wilson, go to that half-back line. Not quite cutting on the wing at the moment, still learning. Alex Tarou, get up forward. Jack Sinclair, get off the half-back line, get into the midfield. And Cooper Sharman, you can go back and bring Tarou forward. So there's just the start of the magnet flipping, and I'm not finished yet.
Okay. Have you seen...
Actually, Mitch Owens. Mitch Owens, you go to centre half-back.
Wow, okay.
Just full flip.
What's Mitch Owens had to half-time? He's had the 5 disposals.
Half of them have been scrubby. He's going at 52 kicks, 3 handballs, and only 1 kick has actually hit the target.
Hasn't
hit the scoreboard. Go to the half-back line. Let's get someone a bit more dynamic who can take a contested mark up in the forward line. So, Tarou, you go forward. Mitch Owens, you go back.
John Newcomb kicked a goal in that second quarter. He's had just the 7 disposals, so you'd say Hugo Garcia with 10 disposals has done his job. It hasn't been a tight tag. It's sort of been pick him up across the ground and put a bit of extra attention into him at the stoppages.
Yeah, well, John Newcomb got that goal when he was floating forward, so I think he has done the job. If you think about it, you take away that 7 touches at a half for a very explosive and talented midfielder for a team that's had majority hit-outs. for him to have not much impact is really impressive. I think the St Kilda midfield unit's done a really good job in terms of keeping the ball in tight, winning their own ball, but making a bit of a shit fight in there. And I think if I'm St Kilda, to your point, Berkey, I'd almost change up a little bit of their kicks inside forward 50. You'd say, you know what, it's not our day. We're not quite hitting the leads. Let's put a target on where we want to kick it, and let's get enough numbers there. So they're not going to mark it, and neither are we. But we're going to get the ball to ground, and we're going to create tackles inside 50, repeat entries, and like you said, try and get those goals out of nothing and effort fights. But at the moment, they're getting isolated and losing their battles. They're leading, and then it goes over their head. So do they almost hold their man and then get 2 or 3 people to the contest where now Hawthorn can't mark it because if there's too many people in the contest to mark that? And do they get it to the ground? Then your smalls can actually get involved. Then they can put the pressure on. Then they can get the goals from the crumbing. For me, that's something that I would look into. It's not a big drastic change. It's just slowing it down a little bit and being a little bit more thoughtful when you're kicking the ball inside 450. When there's nothing on, if there's an easy lead, still try to hit it. But you've got to know when the things aren't going your way, and you've got to change tact. And whether it is flipping magnets or whether it is changing the way you're kicking inside the ball inside 50, because it's not working for them. They're just not getting the marks, not getting a reward for everything. So something has to change.
Ross Lyon, he brought his half forwards up into the middle and congested that stoppage, and it worked for them for a period of time. The Hawks only kicked those 3 goals, and 2 of them were really late, so that change actually worked. But Hawthorn is smart. They're saying, okay, you 3 blokes get up into that contest, and we'll have 5 versus 3 in our back line, and we'll back ourselves to win that every day of the week. And Saints, if you end up kicking 8 goals, 7 goals for the game, well, it's not going to be enough. So we're not stressed about that at all. Saints, the only way you're going to win this game is to come up with 12 goals, and the way you're playing at the moment, you're not going to do that. So that's where I want to see a change. Yeah, it made it a scrap through the middle, and it worked well through the middle, but at the end of the day, you win this game by scoring.
Yeah.
And already you're behind on the scoreboard, so you've got to do something there to change that, and that's why I want to flip the magnets. He's never done it in his coaching career. Now's the time.
Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard with their thoughts to half-time on the SMS 0437 774 774. Trevor from the Sunshine Coast. I'm a happy but concerned Hawk. While listening to your call, I'm watching the Brisbane Lions Port Adelaide game with the sound down. Brisbane play through, and their clearance game is stunning. On current form, Hawks have no chance of beating them. How do you see Hawthorn's form at the moment in what has been a dour struggle at stages in that second quarter, and their ability to try and break open the game?
Well, I think they will break open this game at one point in time because they haven't really opened the fat side much from their defensive 50. They've kept it pretty straight, so I expect them at some point to get some speed on the ball, get around the St Kilda defence and break it open. You think about the potency, the speed that they've got on their wings and inside their forward line. I expect them to break it open. You've got to remember that they're still winning this game without getting a lot of inside 50s. So they're losing that battle. They're winning the hit-outs, but they're not winning the clearances. So that's going to turn if you're dictating where the ball can go from every stoppage. For most stoppages, you think you're going to have a plan to try and get this outside and going your way more often than not. So I expect them to come out of this half and have a real, I suppose, energy about them, because this is not Hawthorn in terms of the way that they're playing. They're not running, they're not getting outside them, and there's a scrap already. So looks like Watson's involved and Taru, I reckon. A couple of young balls throwing their weight around.
Watson into Hasty. Wangane Miller comes across. Jack Ginnivan's never far from the action, and this is all before the umpire's even ready to bounce the ball. So St Kilda won the clearances 14-9 in that second quarter, 12-8 the inside 50s, and it's Hawthorn who lead this on the scoreboard by 18 points.
Sorry, mate, and if you were thinking, did any of my predictions come true? The Saints lining up in exactly the same form and way that they did to finish that first half. Boring.
So 18 points the margin. We're seeing if the Saints can scrap their way back into the game.
They've kicked 3 goals for a half. Do something.
So Ginnivan started the fight and then walked away. Don't mind it.
As all good small forwards do, start the fight, then walk away.
So the third ball up right in the centre of the ground comes down. Newcombe gets tackled. It's socked away by Nash in the end, who gets some distance to half forward and to Watson, who was part of that scrapping at the start of the quarter. Sinclair wins it back. Hand pass to Hill, who was the sub. Hand pass across to Tauru, and he flares it out wide. The City side wing of the ground where Hall takes the mark, takes a bounce, and will kick the footy all the way up to right half forward towards Wood. Couldn't take the mark, spills down towards Newcomb, has to hurry off a handball. Sicily overruns it, goes back on the second attempt, and hand passes over his head. Impey tries to gather. In the end, he just punches it away. He was looking for Battle, who couldn't pick up the footy cleanly. Plenty of players surrounding the footy, and Steele's in there for the Saints. And Newcomb in there for the Hawks as well. And in the end, it's over the boundary line for a throw in, about 55 metres out from goal. St Kilda's half-forward line. Saints kicking towards the Lockett end of Docklands on the left-hand side of your radio dial in this third term. It's tapped away by Meek, who just puts it out in front of Moore, who takes it, and he's tackled to the turf. So another ball up, outer side of the ground. Hawthorn ahead by 18 points. A minute and a half played in this third term.
The voice of Lauren Borden, Matt Clench calling the action. Marty Vinyl down on the boundary. Chad Winningham and Nathan Burke, your experts. Steele down low. Got it to Jack McRae. Kick is smothered. Spills out to Marshall. Hand pass to Winhager into the pocket. Battle in front. Mason Wood couldn't get around him and in frustration has given away the free kick. Josh Battle will take it in the left back pocket against his former side. Got the Bronx cheers right from the outset. In front of the St Kilda cheer squad at that end of the ground to the left of your radio as we look at it. The long kick up the wing. Taru gets the front position, makes the spoil. Down to Ginnivan, whose hand pass missed the target. He goes back himself. Hand pass to Carl Amon. Across half back to Nash. Back to Sicily, the captain in the long sleeves. Gets the hand pass away to Ginnivan, who's going to chip it wider still. D'Ambrosio has it hemmed in against the boundary line at left half back. Hawthorn in their yellow top tonight. The centenary celebration top as Massimo D'Ambrosio kicks as far as he can around the wing. Ramsden in front, worked underneath, and Hasty makes the spoil. Goes out centre wing on the City side. Hawthorn by 18 points. Played just 2.5 minutes in the third quarter.
Hastings got half a shirt on after that tussle.
Yes. Expensive habit to get into the wrestles and the melees now.
Umpire tosses the ball in. Right onto centre wing, outer side of the ground. Meek gets front position on Marshall and then falls to the ground with the footy in hands. He's dived on top of, and the umpire will throw the ball up again. Centre wing, outer side of the ground. So St Kilda just 3 goals to half-time, 3-6-24. Their lowest score this season has been 60 against the Western Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago, where they lost by 72 points. It's from the ball up, it's Newcomb that grabs it, hand passes it to D'Ambrosio. Hand pass across to Ward, his kick is touched off the boot, and it'll be Caminiti chasing back. Hand pass to Wanganeen Millera, who hand passes to Brad Hill. He flicks it across to McRae. Hand passes it to Windhager, who puts it on his boot to get it down the wing. It'll bounce for Wood, who just has to tap it towards Sharman. Can hand pass it to Hall, who's kept running, and now will kick it across to Marshall at right half forward. He'll be looking for Keilor at the top of the goal square, and it's just pushed through in the end with Barris getting front position, as he has done against Keilor for much of this game, pushing it through for a minor score. The first score of the term. Hawthorn's lead just cut back by 1 to 17 points.
There's a difference. Jack Gunston out up the other end would have led straight at the kicker, come out, taking the chest mark. Keeler, young fella, wants the ball over the back. Barris just comes, knocks it through.
Jarman Impey with the long kick up towards the wing for the Hawks. No mark claim. McRae works it back to Wanganeen Millera. Chips it forward to Marshall. Barely 15, but he's paid the mark. Chips it into the pocket where Hall is pushed forward. He's hard against the boundary line, but will have the shot around 45 metres out. Hawthorn kicked the last 3 goals of the first half. Saints trying to start promisingly here. Surely this is beyond him, do you think, Chad? This would be as tough as they come.
Yeah, it's just tough. He's going to have to kick from 50, almost on the junction. I'd expect him maybe put this 10 metres out in the goal square.
He's gone back with intent. He's going for the drop punt where the boundary line meets the 50-metre arc. He's having a crack. It's just going to land short. Cooper Sharman flies in front.
That's the worst kick. That's the worst kick from a forward. You never put this to the goal line because it's always just a point. At least if you think it's on your ability, you've got to make sure you put that for a chance to mark that. And that's almost near the goal square, about 2 metres in front of where the goal square finishes. Because that's just too easy to punch over the line. You're never going to give your forwards a chance.
So Hawthorn's advantage is now 16 points as Carl Amon brings it through, flares it out to the outer wing. It'll be coming back his way though, as Caminiti comes in and cuts off the kick, takes the mark and chips it off to Brad Hill. Back in the side this week after a week off due to illness, but did start as the sub. Jimmy Webster off in the second quarter with a calf injury. As the chip goes across to Wanganeen Millera in the centre of Dockland Stadium. Slow approach, inside 50, it works. Max Hall's on the end of it.
And there you go. There's your best kick, probably the best kick on the field today, almost one of the best ones in the AFL. Give him time of day, he's one of the best. He just gets it back.
Hand passes it back to Wanganeen Millera, who gets the ball from Hall. He kicks right down to the left forward pocket. Wilson rises, but it's out of bounds for a boundary throwing just to the left of the behind post.
Just about to give him a pump up, and then he butchers a kick inside forward 50. The trouble is he ran to his left side of his body and he didn't run around to the right, so he had to try and straighten up, and an almost impossible kick for a right footer.
Mitch Owens doing the ruck work against Lloyd Meek. It spills down the front. Marcus Windhager got a hand pass forward and trying to put it out in front of Mason Wood, but it's rushed through by Jai Newcomb for a minor score. Hawthorn's lead is 15 points. As Josh Battle is going to bring him back into play.
So St Kilda with 3 behinds to start this third term. As Jarman Impey takes the mark at right half back, we can check in with Marnie Vinyl on the boundary.
Hunter Clark had his right ankle heavily strapped. He was doing some runs on the sidelines, but he's now run on the field, so he seems okay.
Thanks, Marnie, as the chip kick from Impey comes to Carl Amon. He almost goes backwards, but Higgins is pressing on him and will now run off injured. The kick will come down to right half forward. Ramsden gets 2 hands to it, tries to juggle it, can't take the mark. Nash comes in. He's tackled by Taru and Windhager, a plethora of Saints that come to hold him up for a ball up 45 metres out from Hawthorn's attacking goal. And Cray takes it, hand passes it backwards towards Sinclair, hand pass to Wilson, puts it on his boot to get some clearing distance near Sharman.
Don't.
And the ball will go out of bounds for a throw-in. We all hold our breath for a second, but it will be a throw-in between wing and half forward for the Hawks. They're holding on to a 15-point lead.
And the Saints have done their homework. That kick in before to Jarman Impey was a set play. They've kicked to the left side all night, and they go to the right side, try and get some speed involved in it. I think they're top 8 for scores from kick-ins, so well done to St Kilda for holding them back and slowing them down.
Chad Wingard with you on ABC Sport. Windhager got it forward to Hall, but it's pinched by Connor McDonald of Hawthorn inside 50. Taru with Wilkie crashed the pad. It's kept alive by Brad Hill. Hand pass out in front of Wanganeen Millera. He taps it to his own advantage. Got a hand pass out to Hill. He couldn't take it cleanly. Watson, in fact it's Ginneman who's in there trying to scrap with D'Ambrosio, and then Clark lays the tackle on Lloyd Meek, who's gone. Saints fans finally have something to cheer about.
Well, Saints are scrapping and fighting and making this as ugly as they possibly can. The problem is they haven't looked like scoring, and at the end of the day you're still 3 goals behind.
Hunter Clark to take the free kick at right half back. St Kilda trailing by 15 points. Chips it over the top to Brad Hill. The sub who came into the action in the second quarter for Jimmy Webster. Seamus Mitchell is the sub for the Hawks, still yet to be used. Back to Wanganeen Miller, who can switch it all the way back to Cal Wilkie. Game number 100. What's he up to? Consecutive games now. 148 tonight. We have a reliable defender as he works it out to Caminiti at half back and sends the Saints up the wing. Marshall's in the pack with Ramsden. It gets all the way to the back where Ward tries to go to work, but Garcia gathers one way then the other. He kicks a centering ball in the direction of Cooper Sharman, who takes the mark. Sicily was out of position and it was a clever kick in the end. A centering ball into the corridor. Cooper Sharman had prize position.
This is actually in really good position. That kick just couldn't have been any better. He's on the strong side. Sicily is reading the play, trying to, because that's where the majority of the ball goes. It goes down the line, and Sharman's just obviously played offline and played the small percentage play, but it obviously pays off this time because that's a beautiful kick. Couldn't have been put in a better spot.
Just the 3 disposals so far for Cooper Sharman tonight. They need someone to stand up the Saints. He comes in from 48 metres out and he hits the post. About halfway up into the left goal post. They've kicked the opening 4 behind so far of this third quarter. Hawthorn's lead is 14 points. Can't buy a goal.
And it's Battle. The former Saint played 123 games for St Kilda before crossing across to Hawthorn on a 6-year deal, who brings it in, chipping it to Jarman Impey, who kicks down the city side wing. There's a pack of players that form, and at the drop it's D'Ambrosio that picks up the footy and clears it into some space along the wing. Taru meets it, passes it across to Wanganeen Miller up, who then puts the kick flat down the line, looking for Hall. Clean gather in the end, can take it and put the kick to Mason Wood, right half forward. Hillmark dabs the kick inside 50, looking for Sharman, but Impey comes back and running back cuts off the footy to intercept for Hawthorn.
Mason Wood's got to be better than that.
Kicks out in front of Mackenzie, running back with a flight, takes the mark on the wing for Hawthorn. Hand pass around the back to Ward, through the middle, kicks to McDonald, takes the mark and plays on to Morther in flight, the Hawks. He sends it long to Ramsden at the back, Wanganeen Miller can't compete in the air. It was a superb kick. Cleared Wanganeen Miller, took him out of the equation, and Ramsden just had to rise and take the mark from the Dylan Moore kick.
And there's the difference. Superb kick by Dylan Moore to the advantage of his forward deep. Whereas the Saints turn around, Mason Wood turns, just no composure at all, tries to hit a target at around about the 45-metre mark, and the ball shotguns back up the other end.
3 goals last week for the 2022 mid-season pickup. In the left forward pocket, 25 metres out. Ramsden comes in and rams it through. Much to the Saints fans' disappointment after the opening 4 scores of the third quarter. They were all behind. Hawthorn make their shot on goal count. Hawthorn by 20 points, 7-6-48 to St Kilda 3-10-28. Meanwhile, at the Gabba, it's still the Brisbane Lions who lead over Port Adelaide by 27 points, 10-9-69 to the Power 6-6-42. 1 goal for the Lions so far in the third quarter. There is an ABC call available via the ABC Listen app. Just click on the AFL Extra button. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard.
And that's the power of having good kicks. That Josh Ward there, that kick inside to Connor McDonald. And what actually got them that mark was the handball received to Dylan Moore. As soon as you get speed on the ball and you've got no one in front of you, you've got eyes up, as a defender, good luck. Good luck. So what St Kilda haven't had is that they've marked it and they're going back off the mark. They're not getting any speed. And when they're kicking inside forward 50, it's off the back foot. They actually don't give them times to their forwards to lead. They've kicked it and they've just picked it off every single time, Hawthorn.
Max Ramsden brought back into the side 3 games ago. It's been 3 wins for him in a row. He's looking for 4 tonight. It's from the middle. Wanganeen Miller has it. Shoves the ball on his boot out to Brad Hill, just drops the mark, but has time to recover and hand pass it across to a running Windhager who runs all the way to half forward, puts the kick inside 50. Henry couldn't mark. Higgins is there, runs into Carl Amon. Umpire blows the whistle, holding the footy. Carl Amon wins it for the Hawks.
3 Saints forwards, the key 3 forwards, all led backwards to goal. Not one came at Windhager, streaming through the middle of the ground.
Blake Hardwick in the end who gets the free kick for Hawthorn. With a wide kick out to the city side of the ground where Meek's there. So is Mackenzie, and they just fumble the ball over the boundary line for a toss in centre wing, outer side of the ground. Hawthorn ahead by 20 points, 7-6-48, playing St Kilda 3-10-28.
Get Keeloy down the other end, let him play on Marby or Chop. The two big fellas, he's going to learn something. He's learning absolutely nothing, getting beaten by Barris down that end, and they may kick a goal, more than 3.5.
Hasn't had a touch into the third quarter. Isaac Keeler, of course, Tom Lynch had the same scenario. He gave away 5 free kicks and was reported in the second quarter. Marnie Vinyl on the boundary.
Hawthorn have made their subs. Max Ramsden is coming off with a tactical sub, and Seamus Mitchell is on.
Jeez, that's stiff.
Kick a goal and get given the instructions to go to the back of the player's dugout. That's not what you want. Cam Mackenzie took it from the stoppage. His kick drifts out and across, out of bounds on the full. Free kick on the way of St Kilda. Right half back. Zaya Wanganeen Miller. There were questions asked of Ross Lyon during the week as his kick goes out on the full. As to whether the speculation around his looming signature was true. He said he wasn't the list manager and he just coached the side, but he said charity begins at home, so despite all the names that have been mentioned for the Saints in the off-season, his little jibe that maybe they need to pay him what he's worth. Hawthorn take it through Mackenzie, across half-back, sends it up towards half-forward. Wilkie couldn't get a hand in there, and it's Jai Newcomb who marks. Out past to Ginnivan at left half-forward. Kicks inside 50, looking for Morrison. He juggles the mark. Darcy Wilson should have got a hand in there. He puts his hands to the back of his head as Harry Morrison marks tight in the left forward pocket. Wilson set himself in front, but just couldn't get a hand to it.
Yeah, had no right to mark that one, Morrison, but did well. Darcy Wilson just can't mark, just get a fist up and get it over the boundary line.
Connor Nash is into Isaiah Wanganeen Miller off the ball. As Morrison is looking to make it 2 goals in quick succession for the Hawks. He comes out, opens the angle, curls it around his body, and puts through another one for the Hawks. It's now all of a sudden a 26-point lead after the first 4 scores went St Kilda's way in the third quarter. They can manage only behinds. Hawthorn have now kicked 2 goals in the last 4 minutes. 8-6-54 the Hawks to St Kilda 3-10-28. Back to Lauren Borden calling the action. Marnie Vinyl down the boundary. The thoughts of our experts Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke.
And again, Hawthorn just looks, they're getting marks inside forward 50 from people they wouldn't expect. Harry Morrison's a winger. And he is okay aerially. He's 185 centimetres. He's nothing special in terms of size. But that's just reading the ball a lot better. And that's as a defender, know when to mark, know when to spoil. You got to know who's around you and what's around you. And Harry Morrison, obviously just reaping the rewards of reading it better, taking a mark. And if he didn't mark that, Watson was right at the feet of that, and he was probably going to snap that for a goal as well.
Saints have made a big move. Hunter Clark has gone to halfback flank.
So the ball is tossed up. Marshall hand passes it to Steele, who'll go inside 50 here for the Saints. Wood was at the front of the pack, just had to bring it down. Higgins going in after it. He's dived on top of. Ball spears out the back. Jath grabs it for Hawthorn, and then he's taken by Mason Wood. It'll be a ball up 35 metres out from St Kilda's goal.
Clark was actually good getting his hands on the ball in that first quarter and first half, really. He's laid 6 tackles. Let's take him out of the play.
So ball tossed up. Jath tried to grab it. Couldn't get it cleanly. Nash dives on top of the footy. And it'll be a high free going the way of St Kilda. And a shot at goal will be coming the way of Jack McRae. So Jack McRae now will have a chance on a 45-degree angle. He'll kick from about 40 metres out to try and get a goal in this third quarter after the Saints kicked the first 4 behinds of the term. It was then Hawthorn with 2 goals in a row, pushing out a lead to 26 points for Hawthorn's advantage. For McRae to pull one back. It is straight and true. And his teammates come to mob him as well. Maybe this could be the start of something for St Kilda as they work back that margin to 20 points, Hawthorn's advantage. 8-6-54 the Hawks, 4-10-34. It's 17 minutes played in the third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
That's his first goal as a Saint at Jack McRae, so not known for his goal kicking, just the 60 goals across his 263 games, but his first one in the St Kilda colours.
It's amazing how players will know that after 16 rounds.
Yes.
The fact that he still hasn't kicked a goal and still get around him. But it wasn't a thing back in my day. If you kicked the goal, if you came from another team, well, good on you. Thanks for kicking the goal, but we didn't carry on about it.
Yeah, to say there was a few things different back in your day. There was no Tony Lockett goal celebrations. Jason Dunstall, they would have got tired. They kicked that many back in the day. Now Marbiel Charles having a run in the ruck here. He beats Rowan Marshall, gets the Hawks to half forward. Ball spills clear of Darcy Wilson. He's knocked off it by Morrison. Hand pass came out for the Hawks from James Warple, but he's picked up as Alex Taru kicks out of defence. His bunkers have got his kick away and off the hands of Jack Higgins, and Jarman Empia goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. Now in the second quarter, Loz, you challenged us for the 10 venues in which these two sides have faced off, AFL, VFL. We came up with 8 of the 10, the MCG, Docklands, Launceston, Waverley, Glenferrie, Moorabbin, the Gold Coast and Junction Oval.
Hold on, that might be, I think that's 9. I didn't hear Waverley. I didn't hear who threw in Waverley in the mix.
Waverley's in the mix,
Waverley.
so we got 1 to go.
Clinchy, you've ruined it.
Both home ground for both teams.
I swear Berkey said Waverley.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, sorry, Berkey.
So
you got Junction Oval, so I gave you double points for that. I thought that was a tough one. So now this is a very tough one. We're talking like 1930s.
Jesus.
As Hawthorn holds the footy along centre half back.
So Michael threw the suggestion of Princes Park on the SMS.
Oh, well, got
That's
that
correct.
one.
Berkey
I
got
said
that one. So Hawthorn on the approach here. Meek has it. Can hand pass to Jarman Impey at right half forward. Dodges around his opponent. Gets around Clark. Hand passes it across to Moore, who hand passes it to Newcomb. Tied in the right forward pocket. Centres the kick beautifully to Chol.
Sensational kick by Newcomb. Pathetic defending by St Kilda to leave a man standing 20 metres out for goal when there is at least a dozen Saints inside 50. You get an uncontested mark 20 metres out. I'm going to go, Stu, our technician, he was around in 1930 barracking for the Saints. I'm going to throw the question to him. Come on, give me a note, Stu. Who was it, 1930?
We'll ponder that as Mabior Chol in his 100th game in the 100th season of Hawthorn in the VFL, AFL, lines up directly in front, goals for the Hawks, and he'll have his teammates come around him in his milestone match. Third club for Mabior Chol, Gold Coast Richmond, now in the forward line for the Hawks, his 31st goal for Hawthorn this season. And it pushes the Hawks out to a 26-point lead tonight under the roof of Docklands. They're 9-6-60, St Kilda 4-10-34. We've just ticked on to extra time in the third quarter.
And I love Cholly. I mean, last week he had his career high of 5 goals, and Tonight he's had the 2, but he's been chasing, he's been pressuring, and one thing I want to talk about, the first quarter, I actually challenged Hawthorn. They obviously didn't hear me, but they were taking shots where I thought they had guys in better position. John Newcombe didn't look at the goals once. He was on a tight angle. He's trying to find a better option. And that's a great sign of a great team that is keen for team success. And that is a great kick.
Yep, not who, it's how many. And that was a sensational kick.
Back in the middle. Every time St Kilda score a goal and they work so hard, Hawthorn come up with a response. McKenzie kicks up towards half forward. Intercepting mark taken by Hasty of St Kilda. Kicks out looking for Henry. Amon flew through, missed the footy. Newcombe cleans it up. Hand pass back to Amon, too slow. Tackled and brought down. Jack Sinclair got him. He thought he might have got a free kick, but the umpire says he'll ball it up.
Seen worse paid, but fair enough.
Thrown just below our commentary position. Hawthorn made 26 points. Free kick for a hold going the way of Rowan Marshall.
See, that's not within a metre or 2 metres of the guy running around the back of the mark.
Call to play on, so Big Lloyd Meek comes streaming at him. It's enough to put him off his kick, although down the road, taken high was Seamus Mitchell. Took Darcy Wilson and then backpedals into James Wobble.
He was within 2 metres that time.
Yeah, that one was.
That was pretty funny.
But you can be 8 metres away. Oh, look out.
He pokes it over the top to Rowan Marshall, who just hangs onto the ball, courtesy of Harry Morrison's arm around the waist. Hawthorn made 26 points. As he comes inboard to Jack Sinclair. So trying to play a kick mark game for the moment as Sinclair turns back boundary side. He's going to give it to Marshall. He's going to work it back into the middle of the ground. My foot finds Angus Hasty. So they're going nowhere, St Kilda.
Our final venue that these two have played at was in the wartime, the 1940s. Only a couple, but you've got to think around the Hawthorn area is where it was.
That's Camberwell.
Close. Hasty kicks down to left half forward. Marshall takes it. Hand pass to Liam Henry, who's running away. Has to get a hand pass right to the centre of the 50. That ball brought to ground. Impey doing the tackling. It'll be Hawthorn defenders that work it out as Watson hand passes it to Barras. Hand pass to Impey, whose kick is touched off the boot. Barras gets it back. They're under pressure, the Hawks defence. Hand pass to Newcombe. He's taken to the ground. Umpire says play on. And it'll be a hand pass from Moore that goes close to the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in inside forward 50 for the Saints. So tough work, but St Kilda have managed to lock it in that forward 50 and to have another shot at scoring. So it'll be the ball to be tossed in about 40 metres out from the goal of the Saints. Meek gets front position easily. It comes down though to Hall, who has a shot at the goals. The bounce is high and it goes over the top of Battle for a goal. Hall comes in, has done so much of the hard work tonight, and he gets his second for St Kilda. The lead for Hawthorn is cut back to 20 points now. St Kilda 5-10-40, Hawthorn 9-6-60, 23 minutes played in the third term.
Geez, he's special. What a pickup he's been. 21 and a goal last week, and he's hit the mark again twice today. He's been super impressive. One of the guys, again, I said one of the 3 players that I'd love ball in hand, going more inside forward 50, because he seemed, if he doesn't hit target, he's at least looking in the right areas and where he wants to do with it. I mean, talk about making something out of nothing. That's a special kick. Getting tackled, pressure, chucking on the right foot, big bounce. Like I said, what a steal. What a steal he's been.
And what I'd love is to get him up and around the middle now.
Yeah, yep.
Get him over around the middle. He's having a good game. He's in good form. He's had 25 and 2 so far this game. So get him up around the middle of the ground. See what he can do. Can he be a new midfielder?
Back to 20 points. The Kilda just hang around. Meet one down the tap. Not officiating umpire says a free kick going Hawthorn's way, and Connor Nash is going to take it. Plays on in the middle of the Docklands. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Have a fly after that as charging out John Newcombe. Crashes the pack, he gets to the back. Hill couldn't take it. Clark couldn't either. It's Ginnivan who gets the hand pass to D'Ambrosio off balance. His shot is across the face and fails to score in the end. Jack McRae under the high ball, and they are going to check this upstairs. He was about to bound out of defence, and umpire said, hang on, we're just going to check this upstairs.
That was so funny. That marking contest had every single player besides Mickey in it. It's like Mickey was crumbing it. I was like, mate, you're the guy, get in there, mate. You can mark it. The biggest guy down there.
What about John Newcombe when he just comes charging through and it's like a bowling ball, leaves all the pins down on the deck. So
Mickey was the spare waiting there.
While we're waiting for this ridiculous
percentage matters.
The old fella Stu up the back has given me Fairview Park.
No.
Oh, Stu, you let me down.
The post-it note's been strewn across the commentary box.
So I think Neil from Coburg is onto it. Lee from Glenorchy in Tasmania says Swan Street, East Melbourne. Not sure that's the right answer. Glenferrie Oval we've got, thanks to the Happy Hawk. I think
that's west of Camberwell.
The rich and famous live in Melbourne.
That's where we're going.
What, Toorak?
Toorak Park.
It is the home of a suburban...
I don't live
old
there,
school
guys,
now.
obviously, don't worry.
Yeah, I don't either.
Xavier College play their footy at Toorak Park in the Victorian Amateurs, but yeah, once upon a time it was used as a VFL venue.
Oh,
they are the 10
it's a good spot.
VFL, AFL venues that the Hawks and the Saints have competed at. So thanks for all that joined in. Hawthorn by 20 points. Another ball up. And left half forward for the Hawks. They are 5-10-40. St Kilda to Hawthorn 9-6-60. There's the clearing kick up the wing in the direction of Mason Wood. Got rid of James Sicily from the kicker Garcia. Ball spilled away. Half a second, Wood thought he might have got 50, but not to be. As they have to go and retrieve the footy and then push back behind his mark.
Mason Wood with it will almost look to switch it across to the broadcast side of the ground, then chooses to just go directly inside 50. It'll fall down in the pack of the pack. There is Owens. He can snap and he can go. Wood made the right decision in the end to not muck around with the footy, go straight inside. And Mitch Owens finishes with the goal. And St Kilda's deficit is now at 14 points. So it got out to 26 during this term. And now they've been able to work it back to 14 points, stay involved in this game. St Kilda 6-10-46, trailing the Hawks 9-6-60. 27 minutes played in the third term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
And that's exactly what I said at half-time. Put it to the danger zone, which is about 15-20 metres out. Make it predictable for your forwards. Don't worry about leading. Get it to ground. Let the most dangerous players in your forward line, which is the Smalls, which is Hall, Butler, Owens, the guys that can on ground level make an impact. Because Hawthorn love flying at the ball. If you stay on the ground level, make sure it doesn't get marked, you're going to be dangerous. That's where I think St Kilda can win this game. They put it to a predictable spot and get numbers around it. If you don't get it, you're going to get tackled. Tackle them, create another stoppage.
Chad Wingard with you on ABC Sport. Meek one down the tap. It's volleyed straight up in the air by Winhager. Newcomb's underneath it. Can't get a disposal away. Meek hacks the kick forward. Found Kinnaman. How Buster Morrison inside 50. Gunston with the arms out in front. There's nothing that Cal Wilkie can do. Jack Gunston takes the mark from a clearing kick from Morrison. It's pretty much directly in front, 40 metres out from goal.
Yeah, Jack Sinclair played 50-50 with his opponent on the outside of a congestion. He went one way, his opponent went the other way. His opponent, the ball came out to him. Jack Gunston gets a shot at goal.
Jack Gunston looking for his second after St Kilda had kicked the previous 2 goals in the match. A calm hand is needed and Jack Gunston is able to deliver just that for Hawthorn. Margin immediately restored back to 20 points. Hawthorn with 4 goals to St Kilda's 3-4 so far in this third quarter. Hawthorn 10-6-66 to St Kilda 6-10-46. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, quite often it's the little things that kill you in a game of football. And there was a congestion just on the edge of the square, Hawthorn's way. Jack Sinclair was on the outside with his opponent. He decided to play, you know what, I'm more interested in getting the ball. So he left his opponent 3 metres to his left. And the ball comes to his opponent who turns around and laces out Jack Gunston. Surprise, surprise, he's a smart player. He leads straight at the bloke kicking the footy. And it's a goal to Hawthorn. That split-second decision by Jack Sinclair cost his team a goal.
Back in the middle, Meek with a hand pass stolen by Garcia, who hand passes back to Hill of the Saints. He can hand pass across to Garcia, centre wing, outer side of the ground, shrugs off the tackle, puts the ball on the boot, finds his captain in Jack Steele, who hand passes across to a running Clark, will put St Kilda inside 50, over the top of Butler. It'll spill at the back towards Barris, who holds on to it for Hawthorn. And he's held on too high, free kick going the way of Barris.
The other umpire came in, the one that was 10 metres away, didn't pay it, but the other one did.
There's the free kick then to Tom Barris. He's come down to bolster the defence alongside Josh Battle this year. Long kick out towards a pack. Meek had 2 hands, but in the end Ginnivan takes it, hand passes it to Impey and then gets it back from him as Ginnivan puts it on his boot and gets bumped late off the footy, the umpire said, by Dan Butler. And it'll be a downfield free kick to Morrison. As Harry Morrison with the goal tonight just chips it down the field towards Ward. He'll go 15 metres further forward towards Carl Amon. At right half forward, swings around on the kick, puts it on his left boot, right to the top of the goal square, bounces off Bradley Hill's chest. Here comes Chol, goal square, goal. Chol with his second for tonight. It bounced off Hill's chest and then fortuitously it came to Chol and he put it through for his second and the Hawks' 11th of tonight. They push out to a 26-point lead, an equal game-high lead for Hawthorn. 11-6-62 playing St Kilda, 6-10-46. 31 minutes have been played in this third term. Your ABC Sport experts are Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard.
And Wilkie is actually getting a lesson today. I mean, his average is nearly 20 disposals, nearly 10 marks a game. But Gunston's just moved him. I know he got pushed into him, but you can't go down that softly. I mean, Gunston's had 2 goals. He potentially could have had 5 goals today if he kicked straight. And Wilkie's had 5 touches. He's not putting himself in great positions to intercept mark. Gunston's really doing his measure. He's holding him, I suppose, to not marking the ball, but also kicking goals himself. So Wilkie either needs to maybe potentially go to Chol to have an impact, or I don't know. But at the moment, he's their leader back there. He's the number 1 rated defender in the competition, and he's had 5 touches so far.
Chad Wingard with you on ABC Sport. Meat gets it down to Newcomb. Inside 50. Big rise from Hasty. Got on the back of Dylan Moore. Comes down with an impressive mark. Don't forget about me. Takes a good mark with Alex Tarou dominating the headlines with his flashy blonde locks. Around the back. Gets the hand pass away to Sinclair. Kicks up to Steele. Drop the mark. Has enough time to regather. Gives it back to Jack Sinclair. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Down low for Mason Wood. Can't take it cleanly. Now Sicily comes in. Locks the footy up at both ankles. And the umpire will ball it up. Hawthorn by 26 points. Approaching three-quarter time. The Brisbane Lions comfortably at the gather. 14-10-94. Leading Port Adelaide 10-6-66.
Last 8 scores have all been goals in this third term as Mason Wood takes the footy and puts the kick inside 50 in front of Henry. It comes off his boot and will bobble its way close to the boundary line where Barris is there to slide over the ground with footy in hand and ensure it'll be a throw-in inside the forward 50 for St Kilda.
Even that kick there, Mason Wood's wheeling around onto his left. It was just a nothing kick.
Didn't look.
26 points the margin Hawthorn's way as Meek again has front position in the ruck, palms it down. Owens tries to gather. Hall is in there and has a go for the Hawks. It's Meek that digs it out and can hand pass it outside of defensive 50 for Hawthorn. Hastie's in there, hand passes it away towards Tauru, who can't quite gather it cleanly. He's got Chol nipping at his heels, and it'll be a boundary throwing at half forward for St Kilda. Dock side of the ground. It's Hawthorn ahead by 26 points. It's 33 minutes played in this third term.
The Hawks have kicked 5 goals straight to St Kilda's 3-4 so far in this third quarter, and that'll do us to three-quarter time from the boundary throw-in. Hawthorn 11-6-72, St Kilda 6-10-46. 4 consecutive behinds for St Kilda to start the third quarter. Hawthorn got out by 26 points on a couple of occasions. The Saints got it back in to a 14-point margin with 2 consecutive goals before Marbiel Chol made it the last 2 goals of the term the way of the Hawks, and they lead by 26 points. 2 goals to Nick Watson, to Jack Gunston and to Marbiel Chol. Individuals to Morrison, Newcomb, McDonald, Ginnepin and Ramsden. Probably the most unlucky player, Max Ramsden, after kicking a goal in that third quarter, was then subbed out for Shaman Mitchell. Jimmy Webster was subbed out in the second quarter for Brad Hill, while for the Saints, all in 2 goals to Max Hall, individuals to Higgins, Winhager and Owens. Three-quarter time here at Docklands. I'll throw in Jack McCrory. I missed him as a goal scorer for the Saints. Meanwhile, at the Gabba, it's the Brisbane Lions who lead by 28 points. 14-10-94 to Port Adelaide, 10-6-66. In that match, it has been the Brisbane Lions with 3 goals to Zach Bailey, 3 goals to Charlie Cameron, while for Port Adelaide, 2 goals to Mitch Georgiades, 2 goals to Sam Palpepper and Willie Rioli as well. The Brisbane Lions by 28 points at three-quarter time. Hawthorn lead by 26 points at three-quarter time at Docklands. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Australia's Test Tour of the West Indies is on now.
What about that Unbelievable.
Catch every ball on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the cricket button. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Takes the mark and plays on to Morther in flight, the Hawks. He sends it long to Ramsden at the back wing, and then Miller can't compete in the air. In the left forward pocket, 25 metres out, Ramsden comes in and rams it through. Out past to Kinnaman at left half forward. Kicks inside 50, looking for Morrison. He juggles the mark. Darcy Wilson should have got a hand in there as Harry Morrison marks tight in the left forward pocket. Morrison is looking to make it 2 goals in quick succession for the Hawks. He comes out, opens the angle, curls it around his body and puts through another one for the Hawks. It's now all of a sudden a 26-point lead.
Jaff tried to grab it, couldn't get it cleanly. Nash dives on top of the footy, and it'll be a high free going the way of St Kilda. And a shot at goal will be coming the way of Jack McRae. To pull one back, it is straight and true. Hand passes it across to Moore, who hand passes it to Newcomb. Tight in the right forward pocket. Centres the kick beautifully to Chol. We'll ponder that as Mavior Chol, in his 100th game in the 100th season of Hawthorn in the VFL AFL, lines up directly in front. Goal for the Hawks. So it'll be the ball to be tossed in about 40 metres out. Meat gets front position easily. It comes down though to Hall, who has a shot at the goals. The bounce is high and it goes over the top of Battle for a goal. Mason Wood with it will almost look to switch it across to the broadcast side of the ground, then chooses to just go directly inside 50. It'll fall down in the pack of the pack. There is Owens. He can snap and he can go.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Hawthorn by 26 points at three-quarter time. 11-6-72 to St Kilda 6-10-46. Matt Glitch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Marnie Vinyl down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke.
Well, Chad, the Saints didn't do anything different that quarter. Yeah, they put a lot of numbers around the footy and they made it as hard as they possibly could. But my question now is to Ross Lyon and his esteemed coaching staff is, do you want to win this game or do you just want to play it out and maybe learn something, or do you actually want to win it? Because to win it, you have to kick goals and you have to risk something to actually kick goals, because you're not, the way that you're playing at the moment, you're not going to kick 6 and hold Hawthorn scoreless. That's not going to happen. It's impossible to happen the way that you're playing at the moment. So, do you want to give this pretty decent crowd who've turned up tonight the opportunity to see your team win, or at least try to win? If you are, well then you've got to do something different, because the team is playing as well as they can in the formation that they are at the moment. But that's not good enough. So you need to do something different. Hawks, they're just going to play the game out. We know. Just want to mention young Ramsden there. He had 5 possessions. He just kicked a goal. You're going to win this game. To me, this is the game where you leave that young key forward on, and in that last quarter and a half, he might take 2 more marks and kick 2 more. And suddenly he's kicked 3. If Gunston goes down or Chol goes down, Kel Shagir's not quite ready to come back in, you need a tall in good form. This was the opportunity to get that young fella in good form. So it really staggers me why you bring him off and sit him on the bench as a sub.
Yeah, and make it so early as well. I mean, normally they make the subs in the last quarter, because an injury could still happen, touch wood, but yeah, I thought it was a very strange situation to make that call. But again, trying to maybe get some speed into it. Maybe, obviously, you take out a tall and you put in a small one in Seamus Mitchell, who's got some real pace about him. So maybe it obviously was tactical. But I agree with you. It'd be good to see him to play a full game. And you know, as tall forwards, like if you kick 2 goals, you've done your job.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And he's halfway there.
This is the smallest back line that he'll ever play against.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's a chance for him to kick 3. We know Mitch loves his early sub. He's cruelled Henry Hustrate twice by taking him off at half-time as a sub. I just don't get it. So let's look at what the Saints are doing. Oh, Nasiah Wangadi-Milera is going into a centre bounce. Hallelujah.
So Hawthorn by 26 points as we're about to get the final term underway. Hawthorn chasing an 11th win of the season, which would rocket them up the ladder into the top 4 for tonight at least. All in readiness for the final term. Umpire bounces. Marshall and Meek once more. Marshall wins down the tap. Found Jack McRae. Couldn't get a chance to get a disposal away as he's tackled by Warple, still in the outer of the centre circles. Plenty of numbers around this have come in from the half-forward lines as Nash extracts the footy, kicks around his body. Sinclair tried to use a boot in there, got it away from Seamus Mitchell. Out towards Sinclair, hand pass to McRae, back to Sinclair. Involved again as he got it from Marshall, gets the 55 metres out, kicks to the pocket looking for Mason Wood, can't take the mark. Higgins is onto it, jags it towards goal, and I think he's got it.
Oh, hang on. Josie's hit the post.
All clear is given, but there are a few Hawthorn players who are gesticulating they think it may have clipped the post on the way through, so we may just stand by here as to whether St Kilda have kicked the first goal of the final term through. Jack Higgins, who's had an interesting night. He was crunched a couple of times in the second quarter through a few tackles, 8 disposals, and this would be his second goal as players are just waiting for the clarification from upstairs. Of course, they check every goal as they make their way back to the middle, but we're working out here whether it kissed the padding on the way through.
Didn't look like it from first view. Wasn't a great angle at it. Can't really go by. Yeah, hang on, they're looking at it still. Umpire's taking his time. Nope, he's going to chuck it up. All clear.
Second goal for St Kilda's number one.
So happy with that goal for Jack Higgins. His season total now at 33 goals, and St Kilda with a goal in the opening minute of this last quarter. Margin now 20 points as we'll have secondary ball up in the centre of the ground.
33 goals is a really good effort for a small forward at this stage of the season.
Yeah, and he's even slowed down. I mean, he had a really hot start. He was top 2 in the Coleman, so his last few weeks hasn't been his potent self.
3 goals in the last 5 weeks leading up to tonight, and now he's got 2 tonight to push him up to that 33-goal margin as the ball spins back to the outer side of the ground, where it'll be St Kilda moving it down the city wing. Comes down to Brad Hill, who just pops the ball up inside 50. Mason Wood, unopposed, holds on to the mark that lands in his lap, and he'll have the footy 45 metres out from goal.
Right on by young Hasty out of the back line there too. He's been a little bit rusty by foot, and that still wasn't the greatest kick, but he's winning the football, showing a bit of pace when he gets it too.
So here's Mason Wood, who's in his 5th season at St Kilda after crossing from North Melbourne. Has made so many improvements since coming to the Saints. A big kick now he has to make. 45-degree angle. He'll kick from just inside the paint of 50 as James Sicily dances around on the mark. Wood releases a long ball towards goal, and it'll be stopped in the last line of defence via Meek, who stood down there. Hand pass it across to Battle, hand pass it to Impey, and it's Hawthorn will work it out of defence.
Up towards the wing, in from the side, Marbiel Chol against Hasty, and off the hands of Caminiti. It's across the boundary line for a throw-in. Mason Wood got too close to the man on the mark, and in the end, Caminiti couldn't fly, and Lloyd Meek took an easy, uncontested mark.
Is that the 4th shot on goal today? Had to make the distance, been punched over the line, or fell short and been marked?
Certainly had a few. They struggled to take marks inside 50 in the opening quarter. And Hawthorn really have managed to keep their noses in front all evening, despite the Saints' endeavour and effort. A ball up on the wing in front of our commentary spot. James Warple on the bottom of the pack. As the umpire throws it aloft, Lloyd Meek wins down the tap against Marshall. It pinballs around. Marshall hand pass forward for the Saints. Warple's onto it. Good one-handed pick-up. Hasty rides him into the turf. Umpire says free kick going St Kilda's way.
That went 10 metres, thank you.
That was from Jack Sinclair to McRae. Hand pass to the run of Hasty. Kicks up towards Mason Wood at half forward. Had to wait underneath it. Battle makes the spoil. Wood back onto it. Hand pass to Cooper Sharman, who fires towards goal, and he won't get it there. The kick is chopped off by Carl Amon, just millimetres out from the goal line.
He passed it to Carl Amon in the goal square.
Lace out.
So St Kilda starting with all the play, only able to put a goal on so far in this 4th term. Margin at 20 points, Hawthorn's lead as D'Ambrosio marks it left half back. A long kick, looking for Chol at left half forward. He's in a battle with Caminiti, front position. Him and Chol still battling, and it's Chol that does well just to tap it towards Meek, who can push it out to Ginnivan. Put it on his boot and put Hawthorn inside 50. Gunston on 1-on-1 with Wilkie, but in the end, coming through to take the mark is Moore. He slipped through from the side and holds on to the mark, and he'll have a shot at goal.
I'll let you know what happened after he has his shot on goal.
It does look like Moore's getting ready to snap it. He's played every game this season as well, Dylan Moore. Puts it on his right boot, curls it around beautifully. That was never missing. And Dylan Moore extends Hawthorn's lead back out to 26 points. 5 minutes played in this final term. Hawthorn 12-6-78, St Kilda 7-10-52. Chad Wingard, what did you see?
Yeah, there's two things in this I want to talk about. And one of them's Wilkie again, getting caught up with the body of Gunston. I've seen him in previous weeks not worry about his opponent so much and come across and mark this, but he gets into a wrestle with Gunston and Dylan Moore just comes across and takes the mark. And again, the thing is, Taru that was trailing him, yes, again, so just a learning from a young fella, don't switch off when the ball comes inside forward 50 because that's your guy. You're going to make sure that you impact that. You've got to follow your guy. You can't just allow someone to run and mark that. Secondly, what the funny part of this was Chol, no one from St Kilda stood the mark. And Choli's just put his hands up. Oh, well, I guess I'll stand it, as jokingly. But yeah, I just thought, I couldn't believe it. I haven't seen that before.
Chad Wingard and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport. Meat wins down the tap. Steele rows it. Hand pass forward as his tackle picked up by McKenzie. His hand pass cut off by Steele. Gave it to Wanganeen Miller. A little worm burner to Marshall. Gives it back to Sinclair. Kicks through the middle of the ground. Winhager fires the hand pass forward to Garcia. Not a good kick. Mason Wood started to lead back towards the goal square, and Josh Battle, as his former side, takes the intercepting mark.
Yeah, sponsor OPSM. Not sure a couple of these players from St Kilda are colourblind because they're kicking to the wrong team.
The Hawks,
inside forward 50.
The Hawks fans drown out the boos from the St Kilda fans with their cheers as he chips it out to Jaffet right half back. He sends it long up the wing. Lloyd Meek caught behind. He brings the ball down to the front though, and Warple front and centre. His kick is smothered straight into Sinclair. McKenzie tries to get a hand pass forward into the congestion. Sinclair's desperation trying to knock it clear. Meek gets a hand pass away to Connor McDonald, and a free kick going the way of Lloyd Meek just as play was coming to a stop. The ruckman on the wing.
Notches his 17th disposal of tonight by chipping it out wide towards Harry Morrison, who marks between wing and half forward for Hawthorn. Long high kick inside 50. Watson at the drop takes it. Hand pass to Moore. Dodges around his opponent. He'll have a shot at goal and he'll miss to the near side. So the most recent goal kicker just adds a behind to his tally for tonight and to Hawthorn's as they edge out to a game high 27-point lead. 7.5 minutes played in the final term.
Saints through Wanganeen Miller quickly bring the ball back into play to Darcy Wilson. Kick looking for Cooper Sharman. He's had a tough night tonight. Barras takes the intercepting mark for Hawthorn. Across half back to Jaff. Kicks out to Morrison, centre of the city wing. Chip it further up the wing where he finds Dylan Moore. The last two scoring opportunities. He turns and comes back in more to Jaff. It's a switch across half back to James Sicily. Maybe seen the captain's return tonight.
He's looking okay. I mean, he's getting enough disposals. He's probably only made one mistake, but he's playing within himself. You don't notice he doesn't give away any free kicks. He's looking strong in the air. I think he's played his role. 16 disposals as Connor McDonald kicks Hawthorn inside 50. Pack flies. It's brought down and Wanganeen Miller clears. The kick looking for Isaac Keeler. He can't hang on to the mark. It's not just the one disposal tonight. It was a handball. It's been a tough night for the young St Kilda forward. Kick 44 in 2022 from South Australia. And after kicking a few goals against the Demons in the early stages of that match in Alice Springs, it's been hard going tonight.
So ball tossed in, it's Ward that can take it. Hand pass to McKenzie. They'll go inside 50 again, Hawthorn with a kick inside 50, but it's Taru who comes in and intercepts the footy, takes the mark, and hand passes it across to Windhager. Right on the last line of defence, Windhager kicks towards Wilkie, who backtracks to take the mark. Then runs and puts plenty on his kick to centre wing. It's tapped down towards Wanganeen Miller, who bounces and then has to backtrack. He has Newcomb closing in on him. Warple as well, just keeps the ball in. But it's the Hawks that win out with that pressure as Meek takes it, hand passes to Newcomb, gets it back, and the ruck puts it on his boot towards Moore, whose tackle might have been high. Umpire said play on. And the Saints win the footy via Clark to Steele. Hand pass it across to Wilson, kicks right down to Marshall. Right half forward, hand passes it to Liam Henry, who hand passes it to Wanganeen Miller, who runs into some space, steps over the pain of 50, curves the kick back towards Sharman, and this time St Kilda hits its target for Sharman to mark just slightly to the right, but about 25 metres out from goal.
Hey, this kid is going to win a Brownlow if he gets in a team that wins enough games. He's unbelievable.
Every game he plays, it's going up by 50 grand.
Which team is he winning a Brownlow for?
Well, I don't know if St Kilda need to make some moves to be competitive, but if he goes to a team that's winning, he can win a Brownlow tomorrow.
So a beautiful pass from Wanganeen Miller to find Sharman, likes it off his boot, right over the umpire's hat, and it's a goal for St Kilda. It's their 8th of tonight. They're still trailing by 21 points. They've kicked 2-1 in this fourth term so far. St Kilda 8-10-58, Hawthorn 12-7, 79. 10 minutes played in this final term.
And maybe just elaborate on that, Chad, given the fact that St Kilda have tried so hard tonight to find targets inside 50 and just that level of composure they've lacked.
Well, exactly right. And I love that St Kilda are taking risks this quarter. But for me, when it breaks down, it's the players that should be taking those risks, if I'm being honest. It should be Sinclair, it should be Wanganeen Miller. It shouldn't be the guys that haven't got the capabilities to do so. Your risk assessment should be different to Nazar Wanganeen's risk assessment. And at the moment, they're just probably taking kicks that aren't going their way. But what I love from St Kilda, their effort hasn't changed tonight. And again, get it in the hands as much as you can and these elite ball users that you do have, which is only 1 or 2 that you do.
Back to a 21-point margin, 2-1 in the final term, St Kilda's way. Newcombe gets a hand pass forward, worked off at Watson by Hasty, spills out towards McRae. Here Nash get in down low. Trickles out,
going on
steals over the top.
The umpire has seen Watson throw Hasty to the ground and done nothing about it.
That's a WWE move, 100%.
Gutless umpire. You were 5 metres away and you saw it happen.
Meek wins down the tap at centre half forward for Hawthorn. Nash on the move. Taru on the bottom of the pack. Can't knock it out and the umpire will ball it up once more.
Was there good umpiring today in your game, Berkey?
I need to mute my mic.
Warren, I'll have words with you after this.
Ball tossed up at the top of the 50. The umpire does blow his whistle in this one for a holding free kick, and it's going the way of the Hawks.
Lauren, you poked the bear before that.
Yeah, but you were a little bit hangry pre-game. I was hoping you got a sausage roll into you and were in a better mood.
Body's a temple. Chad ate all those.
I've had 2.
Nash with the footy, just dabs the kick slightly inside 50. D'Ambrosio marks.
The only good thing about the umpiring tonight is they're wearing blue and none of the teams are wearing blue.
Yes.
So, well done whoever chose blue.
I thought you better give a compliment.
I
should
did.
know better.
I did. I gave a compliment. They're wearing blue.
So no clashes when they wear yellow sometimes.
I was here last week with Richmond and the umpires were wearing yellow and black.
Yeah, that wasn't their best work.
Here comes Massimo D'Ambrosio, who's favouring himself to kick from 55 metres out, widens the angle in the end, will get it to 50. This kick towards goal is beautiful. What a finish from Massimo D'Ambrosio. Knew exactly how to play it and curled the ball beautifully from 50 metres out, straight through the middle of the goals. And that is Hawthorn's lead out to 27 points, 13 minutes played in this final term. 13-7-85, 8-10-58, and D'Ambrosio gets himself onto the goal kickers list.
That's just a beautiful kick of the football. And he's just come in as a guy who just wasn't valued where he was. And the Hawks have obviously valued him, given him confidence, played in a position where he can use his talent and his skill. And young man's thriving.
And he is a young man. And I want to talk about something then, because when Hager stood the man on the mark, he was the man on the mark, he jumped. And as he was in the air, Massimo opened up the angle and played on. And actually, that's the reason why he got that shot off. If Winton Hager didn't jump, he's probably running with him and spoiling that. Smothering that shot.
Hawthorn by 27 points, back in the middle of the ground. Newcombe got the clearance, hand pass chopped off by Wanganeen Miller, hand pass to Henry, kicks down low to Mason Wood. And the fingertips underneath as he led out in front of Battle. He's had a tough night, traditionally playing as a winger. He's played as a key forward tonight. We'll get a shot on goal here, slightly right of centre, 45 metres out from goal.
We talk about Wanganeen Miller as kicking, which is elite, but the thing about that I think is absolutely his elite is the work that he does below his knees.
Yeah.
Just didn't fumble then, got a handball across, and very rarely fumbles the ball. And the difference between a great player and a good player is what they do below their knees.
12 disposals for Mason Wood tonight as he starts his approach outside 50. Comes in looking for a chance to keep St Kilda alive. His shot is across the face to the left-hand side. Through from Ina score. 26 points is the Hawks lead at the 14-minute mark of the final term. Meanwhile, at the Gabba, it's still the Brisbane Lions in control over Port Adelaide, leading by 21 points despite The Power kicking 3-2 in the final term.
Hal Amon with a long kick out of defence, right to a pack where John Newcombe takes it unopposed in the end. Hand passes it to D'Ambrosio, who gets plenty on his kick. It's a good-looking kick as he tries to get it to left half forward to Seamus Mitchell. Couldn't take the mark, though, but that's all right because Moore will come in from outside 50. Will almost snap it at goal. And it just dribbles through to the left-hand side. Close, but bounced to the left in the end. And it's a behind for Hawthorn. They're back out to a 27-point advantage.
Quickly brought back into play. St Kilda almost found themselves in trouble. Brad Hill finds a way out. Going for the Wanganeen Miller. He's a good option. He kicks into the middle of the ground. Butler on the half volley. Hand pass to Hall. They're on here. Higgins in the goal square. Comes leading out and takes the mark. 15 metres out. Directly in front.
Again, Wanganeen Miller coming out of the back line. Spots those players loose in the middle of the ground and just sets the game up again. Add another 50 grand onto his wage.
Jack Higgins for his third comes in and the goal umpire racing left. He'd certainly be asking for some of the return if his forwards could finish the job. It's a 26-point lead, Hawthorn's way.
Carl Amon, your old teammate Chad at Hawthorn and Port Adelaide, brings the footy back in. Chips to Battle. He just chips across to D'Ambrosio. He's a step or two inside defensive 50. D'Ambrosio loads up on the kick and swings it inboard as well. Newcombe brings the footy down, holds on to it. He's taken the tackle by Tauru. Umpire blows his whistle quickly for a ball up, right in front of our broadcast position. Hawthorn leading by 26 points, looking for their fourth win in a row tonight. As it's tapped down by Nash almost to himself. It'll come down and it's taken by Ward, who throws it out almost to Newcombe. Hand pass to Amon. He puts it on his boot quickly. It'll just stay in play. Tower at the front went for the spoil in the end. Didn't punch it away. Falls at the back and Clark takes it. Hand pass to Wilson. Hand pass to Tauru, who chooses to go by hands. Back to Wilson, taken in the tackle. Has to hurry off the hand pass. Warple easily steals it. Hand pass to McDonald, who flicks it across to Ginnivan, who skies the footy right to the top of the 50. Ball spills off Kamenides' chest. He goes in after it. Hand passes it to Wilkie, who can find its way to Liam Henry at centre half back for St Kilda.
He kicks out in front of Brad Hill. It was too wide for him. Swooping onto it is Jaff. Gets the hand pass to Morrison. Almost brought down by Butler. Kicks it to Moore in the right forward pocket. Turns and fires towards goal. Misses across the face to the left-hand side. Quite a few shots in the final term. Dylan Moore just hasn't quite been able to finish, and Hawthorn lead by 27 points.
Yeah, one goal free. He's been pinging away, but difference down here, Saints overdid the handball, turn it over. Hawks, when they get to that position of potentially overdoing the handball, Ginnivan just throws it on his boot because he knows he's going to get a contest up the field.
On to Clark, kicks long down the dockside wing. The ball falls into dispute. Hall will pick it up. Hand pass behind him towards Hasty, who spins around the 360 to get away from Warple and chips it across to Steele. Hand passes to Hill, who's running all the way to the top of the 50. Pulls the kick and pulls it right to D'Ambrosio.
One of our forwards lead backwards. Brad Hill is charging forwards and they all run backwards.
And Hawthorn could be on here as Morrison takes it to hand pass across to Jack, centre wing, outer side of the ground, kicks it right to right half forward, looking for Mitchell. He was in a 2-on-1, got brought to ground. Watson does well to keep it in, 40 metres out from goal, but close up against the boundary line. He chooses to look backwards, find Nash, and set up a shot directly in front of goal.
I don't think Nash was even calling for that one. He was probably thinking, you're going to have a shot, young fella, and he kicked it to him. I thought, oh, thank you very much.
Something must have been said at quarter time because these guys are just squaring up and both small forwards, besides Moore, have really thought about what they're doing with ball in hand. They've kicked to guys in much better positions. John Newcombe had it last quarter. Now the Wizard, well within his right to have a shot too.
Connor Nash towards goal in this fourth term. He misses to the right-hand side. The margin is just edged out to 28 points, Hawthorn's advantage. We're about to tick into extra time, and it's Hawthorn 13-10-88 playing St Kilda 8-12-60.
Sinclair brings the Saints back into play, finds Jack McRae across half-back. Possession number 20 coming out for him. Wanganeen Miller with 36. 22, the leading possession getter, Josh Battle for the Hawks as Max Hall runs out of room, taken over the boundary line by Jack Gunson. A little ginger on that ankle. He's kicked 2 goals tonight for the Saints alongside Jack Higgins. And for the Hawks, 2 goals to Watson, 2 goals to Chol and 2 goals to Gunston. And the Hawks 28-point lead At the 20-minute mark of the final term, thrown back in. Marshall palms it down, looking for McRae. Hand pass to Hunter Clark, fires it forward to Steele. The St Kilda captain takes a bounce, gets the right half forward. Hand pass over the top to Wangane Miller. Chisels a pass to Wood, not 15. Back to Wangane Miller. Why not finish yourself? He kicks off the outside of the boot and misses to the right-hand side. Trying to curl it across his body. Not the only thing he hasn't done right, as his 38th disposals are behind. Hawthorn by 27.
Take 50 grand off him.
I don't think he'll notice.
So at right half back, it's Ward that wins the footy, hand passes it across to Moore, who'll move the footy along the outer side wing towards Gunston, takes a bounce, and will put a high ball inside 50. Chol is at the back, doing well. He's hasty to step back and spoil it against Chol, who was running towards an open goal if he was able to take that and spin. And it's St Kilda's defence that win it out here after Hasty's efforts, and Steele will have it and just chip it across to McRae at half back.
He's 1 against 2 against Marby or Joel, went back with a flight of it and spoiled it. So great effort, no fella.
Sends it up to Cooper Sharman, who rises in front of Battle, takes the mark. Hand pass to Wangane Miller, kicks down low for Higgins on the bounce. Can't take it. Jaff charges into him, bumps him off it. Mitch Owens gathers. Hand pass to Hall for his third. Off the outside of the boot, he sends it through. He has tried his guts out for the Saints tonight. He's really played a lone role up forward alongside Jack Higgins. The Saints stay alive. They trail by just 21 points, but just 9 goals to the match. It would seem very unlikely. Hawthorn 13-10-88 to St Kilda 9-13-67. Max Hall with his third goal.
Now, you speak about flipping the magnets. Wangane Miller in the midfield. What are you thinking? What are you liking? Is this something that we can see more of, or is he just so potent as a halfbacker using that ball movement? Do we have a bit of a mix? What do you think's best for St Kilda just for us this year?
Yeah, what we've seen is he's kicking the ball inside forward 50 in this last quarter, and they're either scoring goals or behinds, or something good is coming from it. I'd much rather have him kicking the ball inside forward 50, because the rest of them aren't that good at it. So you need him up there rather than coming out of that half-back line.
Back in the middle, it's Marshall that taps it down towards Wangane Miller, who hand passes away for his 40th touch of the night. Across to Steele, puts St Kilda inside 50. Players go down behind the footy, no free kick. Owens can take it at the top of the 50. Just starts the kick. It's stolen by Morrison easily. Hand pass across to Hardwick, who'll clear it out of that danger zone. McDonald chasing after it for the Hawks. He's in a battle with Sinclair. Sinclair can finally pick it up. They're all very close to the boundary line, and everyone's happy to take it over there for a ball up between wing and half forward for the Saints.
Setting the clearances 11-8 in favour of the Saints, despite losing the tap-outs quite heavily.
Wangane Miller with 40 disposals, the most of his career, as he'll go again with a kick, but the umpire's blowing his whistle and will bring it back. So it'll be a free kick going the way of the Hawks. From the throw-in, Jai Newcomb will be the player to take it at right half-back for Hawthorn. He's coming up to his 22nd touch of tonight. Has a goal as well in the second quarter.
890 metres gained by Wangane Miller.
If he got that one, he probably would have got 1,000. He thumped that with a tool, but that went about 60 metres.
Jai Newcomb doesn't mind putting plenty on this kick as well. It's 50 metres down the wing, and then it's just punched out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. This time it'll make its way to half forward for the Hawks. So a throw-in to come outer side of the ground. 23 minutes played in this final term. It's Hawthorn by 21 points.
The previous best, as you said, for Nasiah Wangane Miller was 36 disposals, so up to 40 tonight. Max Hall, a career best, 3 goals as well. So a couple of positive signs for the Saints tonight. And Hawthorn are looking like they'll prevail by 21 points from the stoppage. There's the diving on top, and the umpire will ball it up.
Hawks have got Hardwick playing as a loose player in defence, so they've got 7. The Saints are trying to call one back to even it up 7 each.
From the ball up, it's not clear. Racing after it is Newcomb. Steele after him. Tackles him across the boundary line.
That was a try. I think he dived across the boundary line.
Touchdown.
The Wallabies could do with him tomorrow night. Hawthorn, we've got Fremantle at Perth Stadium next Saturday night ahead of Port Adelaide and Carlton. For the Saints, they have the Swans at the SCG. The Swans at Docklands, I should say, next Sunday. Ahead of Geelong and Melbourne in the weeks to come. From the stoppage, Sinclair gets a hand pass away, releases Wanganeen Miller, possession 41, kicks inside 50, caught behind was Higgins, off the hands of Battle, trying to fight for it, Mitch Owens, but Jarman Empey gets a hand pass out to Ginneman, at right half back, kicks up towards Lloyd.
No, hang on, the umpire has paid a free kick 80 metres behind because Mitch Owens pushed over the Hawthorn player and the umpire's called it. But finally, we've got Alex Taru up forward. It's only because Hawks have got 7 defenders and Saints are evening up the numbers. He's gone forward. A bit too little, too late.
Mitch Tennant makes back in the studio, letting us know that Messiah Wanganeen Miller are the first Saint to get 41 disposals since Seb Ross back in 2018.
There you go.
Slightly different kicking ability.
Just 7 years ago.
Lloyd Meek right down top of the 50. And it's punched away for a boundary throw-in. So you can see a lot of players on their haunches a little, just trying to gasp in some air. A few minutes remaining in this match. Under the roof at Docklands, 36,035 was flashed up on the screen as the crowd. So a good crowd in for a Saturday night when the Saints haven't seen some of the biggest crowds this year. And it's second game at Docklands as well. It was 29,672 a little earlier on in the day when Gold Coast defeated Essendon. The ball's tossed up at the top of the 50 for Hawthorn. It's Wanganeen Miller who gets another clearing disposal and kicks it all the way out to centre wing, outer side of the ground, where Owens will take it. Hand pass it across to Clark, who puts it on the boot, and will get St Kilda inside 50 as Sharman just tries to punch it forward. Does well to get it to Higgins. He hand passes as he's falling, and Ward picks it off, takes it, hand passes it to Morrison, who hand passes it across to D'Ambrosio.
He takes a bounce. And a second as he runs out to the wing. Massimo D'Ambrosio kicks looking for Chol. It cleared Rowan Marshall. He got a push against Marviel Chol, and the Saints will take it. Oh, he's kicked it straight into Gunston. A gift. Even the veteran will make you pay for that. Jack Gunston turns and sends through his third. Oh, St Kilda fans wouldn't believe it. The Rowan Marshall would turn over. Ball on half-back. And Jack Gunston couldn't believe his luck. 27 points, Hawthorn's lead. 14-10-94. St Kilda 9-13-67. What do you say when that happens?
Not too sure. Oh, Jackie, he started off the house on fire. Hasn't really been sighted much since that first quarter, but that was just a gift. Rowan Marshall went for the short pass. It went very short, 5 metres straight to Jack Gunston, who turned around and kicked the goal. But this quarter just shows you most Saints supporters have been saying, you know what, we need some class in the midfield. They work hard. Steele, McRae, can't question their work rate, but we need some class. And Wanganeen Miller has gone in this quarter and shown what he can do. So if he doesn't start there next week, I'm sending him my free membership.
So Gunston's got 10 goals in the last 2 weeks as Morrison just bashes it away right inside forward 50, but Wilkie can pick that one up easily and cleanly to chip it across to the outer side of the ground towards Steele, who moves the ball on to McRae, across to Sinclair, who falls over but can hand pass it across to Clark. Hurriedly puts the kick inside 50 as he's off balance. Keeler punches it away to Wanganeen Miller, who shrugs off the impy tackle, and Wanganeen Miller misses. Oh, some more tough work from him to shrug off the tackle, have a shot at goal, but he just misses for a behind.
That was still super impressive. Like he had the ball and picked it up in half a second, shrugged the tackle. I mean, if he finishes his goals today, he's probably had game for the ages.
He's kicked 3 behinds.
3 behinds in his 43 disposals. Josh Battle gets the Bronx cheers as he brings Hawthorn back into play. His kick is chopped off by Rowan Marshall, though. Keen to redeem himself after giving Jack Gunston that last goal. St Kilda ruck veers out to the right, sends a high ball inside 50. Have a go at that. And Isaac Keeler's caught behind, can't get there, and Hardwick takes the intercepting mark. Blake Hardwick chips it back to Amon, who marks in the left back pocket. He can work it out to Ginneman, who receives the kick and marks at left half back. He can chip it back to Carl Amon.
Amon holding on to the footy, still in defensive 50, just swinging it around. Not long left in this match. And Hawthorn ahead by 26 points. A long kick right down the line to a pack. Gunston has front position, leaves it in the end because Meek's behind. And Chol takes it, sitting on his bum, just with his legs out. Takes it and hand passes it away, but it's Sinclair who can steal it for the Saints. Hand pass it to Windhager. who moves it inside to the centre of the ground to Dan Butler in game 150. Hand pass to Hill, hand pass to Windhager, who puts it out towards Cooper Sharman at left half forward. Saints looking for one late in this match, and Sharman swings the footy in his hands, 60 metres out from goal, puts it right into a hot spot, hoping for a mark to come, and it does. It's big Rowan Marshall, who will mark for St Kilda, and he goes running back to his mark. He's desperate to get this one in. Maybe he doesn't know how long is exactly left. But it's Rowan Marshall who'll take this kick on the siren of full time. 30 metres out from goal. Rowan Marshall to decide the margin of tonight's match. This one, the umpire watches go over his head. So accurate from Rowan Marshall to end the game. But it's Hawthorn who win by 20 points. It's the Hawks with their 4th win in a row, and they move into the top 4, at least for tonight. Lead at quarter time. They doubled that by half time to push out to 18 points ahead. By 3/4 time, it was 26 points before winning in the end by 20 points after Rowan Marshall's goal after the siren for St Kilda. So a win for Josh Battle in his first game against his old club, with James Sicily, the captain, also returning for his first game since round 12. It means the Hawks have put on 4 wins in a row, and it's their 11th win of the season, defeating St Kilda by 20 points. Hawthorn winners by 20 points. St Kilda did well to stay in touch. They got the margin back down to 1 point in the second term before Hawthorn continued to push away. Mabi Ochol's 100th game as well across 3 clubs. He kicked 2 goals tonight. Jack Gunston had a couple. Jack Ginnivan was the top goal scorer with 3 for Hawthorn. Nick Watson had a couple as well. And then singles to Morrison, Newcomb, Moore, D'Ambrosio, McDonald and Max Ramsden, who was subbed off in the third quarter as a tactical sub. While for St Kilda, it was 3 goals to Max Hall, who tried all night for the Saints. Jack Higgins had a couple. Windhager, McRae, Owens, Marshall and Cooper Sharman each had a goal for St Kilda, but it's their 4th loss in a row for the Saints. Hawthorn winners by 20 points.
The two sides, of course, play off for the Blue Ribbon Cup, which honours the courage and sacrifice of all Victorian police officers. And there is the Silk Miller Medal in named of Victorian police officers Sergeant Gary Silk and Senior Constable Rodney Miller, who were killed in the line of duty in 1998. So the two sides gather in front of us. Is it a losing player who gets the medal tonight?
Him or Meek. If it's not him, it has to be Lloyd Meek. I mean, he had 50, let's have a look, he had 59 hit-outs, 20 disposals compared to Ryan Marshall's 29. So he doubled the hit-outs. I thought he was really dominant there. Yes, they didn't get the clearance, but if it goes to a Hawthorn player, I think it would be him. But it'd have to be our great man, Isaiah, if it doesn't.
Each medal has its own uniqueness about it, and this one is decided by the club presidents. Let's head down to Bruce Eva for the presentation.
To commemorate the 175 Victorian police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Congratulations to the Hawthorn Football Club on winning tonight's match and taking home the cup this year. To honour the lives of Sergeant Gary Silk and Senior Constable Rodney Miller, who were both killed in the line of duty 27 years ago, senior leaders from St Kilda and Hawthorn have voted for the best on-ground player from the opposing side to receive tonight's Silk Miller medals. I'd now like to welcome Jimmy Miller, son of Rodney Miller, to present St Kilda's Best On Ground Award as voted by Hawthorn President Andy Gowers. Congratulations to Nasiah Wanganeen-Millera.
43 disposals, 8 inside 50s, 914 metres gained, and 11 score involvements. He kicked 3 behinds. That was the only thing that blemished his afternoon.
Niece of Gary Silk to present Hawthorn's Best On Ground Award, as voted by St Kilda Vice President Russell Kaplan. Congratulations to Lloyd Meek.
The Hawthorn ruckman, who took the points against Rowan Marshall tonight. 20 disposals, 14 contested possessions, 6 tackles, 4 marks.
Police Mike Bush to present the Blue Ribbon Cup to this year's winning captain, James Sicily. Thank you once again to everyone for being here tonight to support the Blue Ribbon Cup. Good evening to you all.
So the presentation's completed down below us. So yes, each club president selects the best player from the opposing side. And the Hawks winners by 20 points, their 11th win of the season, to move tonight at least up to 4th spot on the AFL ladder and keep that wrestle as to who will finish inside the top 4 at season's end. It will come down to which team will slip up, with just 17 of the matches in the remaining rounds to be decided by sides who are featuring in the top 8. Collingwood clear out in front by 10 points from the Brisbane Lions, who also had a win tonight over Port Adelaide. So despite the Power finishing strongly in that final term, in fact it was 4 goals apiece. Brisbane winning by 28 points, 18-12, 120 to Port Adelaide, 14-8, 92. The Western, who's in 3rd spot? Geelong are in 3rd spot with their victory today. So they move to 44 points, equal with the Hawks. Adelaide in 5th spot, the Western Bulldogs in 6th, the Gold Coast Suns in 7th, GWS in 8th, and Fremantle in 9th position. All of those locked on 10 wins. Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard with their thoughts.
Well, I guarantee what Ross Lyon's going to do is he's going to come out and go to the stats. And he'll say, we won clearances, 41-37, contested possession, 136-117, inside 50s, 53-42, tackles, 82-58, ground ball gets, which is an important stat, 104-67. He'll say, fantastic, look, we did all that, but there was no one in this box who actually thought Saints were going to win tonight, and they were playing a game style that was actually going to win and kick enough scores. It just wasn't going to happen. So you can hide behind all the stats that you want. The fact is the skill level through the mid is not where it needs to be. The lack of inventiveness to get the good ball users through the middle of the ground alarms me. They put Wanganeen-Millera in the centre just for the last quarter, and Saints probably scored the heaviest in the last quarter, or looked like scoring their best, with him getting the ball in the front half and delivering it to his forwards and kicking 3 behinds himself, getting on the scoreboard. It took 3 quarters for that to actually happen. There's other players like a Jack Sinclair just trots around off the half-back line. Great, getting a lot of touches, but not much coming from it. So get him up in the midfield, get him up in the front half, getting kicking the ball to the forwards. There's just a lack of inventiveness that almost seems like, you know what, let's be competitive and not lose by a lot rather than try and win the game. And that's disappointing from a St Kilda fan perspective. From Hawthorn tonight, that wasn't the best that they can play, but it just goes to show that, for me, a good sign of a good team is you can be 15% off but still do enough to win. And that's what they did tonight. So I think there's a lot to like with the way the Hawks go about it. They're unselfish the way they go about it. They've got multiple ways can score goals. If one of their midfielders like Newcomb and Warple and these guys are a bit quiet in the first half, but it didn't matter because they had other ones who actually stepping up. The halfback flank has got a lot of the football today, so that probably carried that load through the midfield as well. But when you get a team effort and everybody's just down slightly, that team effort will still be enough to win the game, and that's what the Hawks did tonight.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there, especially about the Hawks. I think Hawthorn is going to go as far as their midfield will let them. I'm very confident in their back 6, and I love their forward 6. their midfield mix right now is clearly weakness in their game. They are missing Will Day, and I think they desperately need him back to get to where they want to go, and that's to contend for a premiership. You can't have 64 hit-outs, 34 hit-outs more than the opposition, and lose the clearance battle. That's a stat as a midfield unit. You should be a little bit leaving this game a bit with your head down, if I'm being honest, especially when you've got the three bulls in there of Warple, Nashi, John Newcomb for majority of the time. They're the guys that's their bread and butter, is getting in there, getting clearances, putting their head over the ball. Will Day is the guy that's going to get on the outside of it and use the ball well. So for me, Hawthorn, hopefully they learned a lesson today. They'll review this game, and I think they would be just happy. Like, they've got the 4 points. They did enough to get the job done. But they've got a lot of things that still need to work on. If you look about, you see Western Bulldogs, what they did to St Kilda and other teams that done to the lower sides. You really got to make sure and set your authority against these teams. I thought Lloyd Meek was dominant today, and for the midfielders not to reap the rewards and to give their forwards the best chance to score even more. To not score over 100 points today was, I thought, a bit of a shock if we're coming into this game. But for me, Josiah Wanganeen-Milera, if he's... I feel for St Kilda because they want to keep him, but he could be a Brownlow winner if he's in a winning side.
We're going to come back to that, Chad. Hawthorn winners by 20 points down to Marnie Vinyl.
We're a happy team at Hawthorn. We're the mighty fighting horse. Loud and calm and we play to win. Riding the mouse with the grit at Hawthorn. Come on, they find striving. Teamwork is a thing that talks 4, 3, 2. One for all and one for one. Where we are at Hawthorn. We are the mighty fighting horse.
They all look pretty happy down there, Marty.
Yeah, very happy and very healthy. No injuries tonight, which is a plus.
Max Ramsden subbed out of the match tactically in the third quarter for Seamus Mitchell. And the Hawks winners by 20 points, 14-10-94 to St Kilda 10-14-74 in front of 36,035 fans at Docklands on a Saturday night. So the Hawks move to 11 wins and 5 losses. They're up to 4th spot on the AFL ladder. So how much is Josiah Wanganeen-Milera worth? If Tom de Koning's worth 1.5, 1.6, 1.7...
Yeah, I don't...
Ross Lyon's cheeky sort of jive that charity starts at home a message maybe that they need to reward this guy, or is it just the fact that he's backing it up while there's some others? I mean, Tom de Koning hasn't handled the media spotlight as well as what Wanganeen-Milera has this season.
Well, he should be paid the highest at the club. He's the best player, whether Tom comes or not. He should be paid the most, but the money's not the most important thing. And I think for him, definitely not. It's where he wants to play in terms of individual success, team success, and where he's going to have the most enjoyment. And only he knows those three answers and where he feels most comfortable. But from an outer, we can all speculate of where that would be best for him individually. But end of the day, it's his decision to make. But unless St Kilda, improve drastically, he's got a big decision to make. Sorry, I got a cough. You take over.
Yeah.
How would you assist him in making that decision? Berkey obviously has family in South Australia. His manager went to great lengths to say that there was no bad blood between he and the Adelaide Crows, and of course what had happened with Taylor Walker in the past. He has connections with Port Adelaide, and yet St Kilda would love to keep him if they can find a way to do so.
Look, the St Kilda do look after their Indigenous players very well, and that has a lot to do with the happiness of the players. They feel like they're respected. St Kilda do a good job there, so that's going to go a long way. How much you pay him is going to go a long way. His friendships, whether the young blokes in that team have got together and gone, you know what, the Jack Steele and you old blokes, you're going to fade away. Pretty soon this is going to be our club. This is going to be the young bloke, Mitch Owens and Windhager and Max Hall. This is going to be our club, so let's stick together and build something together. And, you know, that's an intangible... That's don't know whether they've got it, whether they haven't got it, but if you do have that sort of a thing, that can be the thing that tips you over the line into actually staying. So there's half a dozen factors that we can't see unless we're involved watching those players relate to each other day by day and how they talk to each other. That's going to play a big role in it.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is, what is St Kilda telling him and selling him? Because if I was him, he's still young. He might just sign a smaller deal to get him to free agency. They'll take that.
Stupid 9-year-old ones, keep him there for a couple.
So he's 22 years of age.
Exactly right. So for me, it would be, if I was in his shoes, what are you doing to make us successful as quick as possible? Who are you bringing in? What's the vision if he wants to stay? Because, like you said, all the other stuff we don't know. Because that's the stuff that will obviously decide a lot of his decision. But as a player, you want to be in a position to at least be able to compete and win. And even at 22 years old, he has the capability to be the best player in a competition and to change a side dramatically. And if he's, getting St Kilda to just get in, should even just sniff the finals, or could he potentially be in a team where he can contend for a flag? That's the stuff that he's going to chuck up in his mind. And where do you want to be a legend at the club at St Kilda, and do you want to be a forever player there? That's another standing point. The team that drafted you, the team that took a chance on you, you want to give back. So many decisions to make. Sorry, only the two, but so many calls and so many interesting ways that you can go about it. And a family is a massive one as well. So a lot of things from an outer would say it would be an easy decision, but for him to, obviously he's not going to say something right now, but St Kilda must have some great relationships and great belief in this club to the way that he's handled things so far. So the effort that he's giving, he's not, I suppose, the effort and just intensity that he's playing with, he's delivering every single week. He doesn't look like a player that's given up on this club.
The fact is, the difference tonight was Hawthorn's kicking efficiency was 73%. The Saints was 58%. So there's 15% difference in the kicking efficiency. You take him out of that team, and that gap is 25%.
100%.
So they've got to keep him.
Let's head down to the Hawthorn rooms with Marnie Vinyl.
Thank you. I've got Jai Newcombe here. So 11th win of the season. Hawks have jumped into the top 4. You led from pretty much the second half of the first quarter. How'd it feel out there for you?
It was a bit of a grind out there tonight, to be honest. Obviously, the contest is one of their strengths, and I'm a very heavily sourced area for them. So it was pretty scrappy for a lot of the game. It was nice to be able to be sort of potent on the outside a few times and get a bit of a score on the board to, I guess, keep them sort of out of arm's reach. Pretty scrappy game tonight.
Hawks had 10 individual goal kickers, including yourself in the second quarter. Very good effort. Sometimes you have games where Gunston will kick 7, and then you've got such a good slew of options. Does it help you as a midfielder just having so many options?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all our forwards are very reliable, all very, very good goal kickers, and it's obviously nice for the likes of Gunners and Charlie when they're able to kick a bag and get on the end of them. But we're always happy when it's an even spread in a team game as well. We're more than happy to have multiple scorers, and know that guys can kick a bag here and there.
Talk to me more about Marvio. So 100th game tonight. What's he brought to the club?
What's he brought? He's been a great character to have around the group. Tells us when to relax when we're getting too intense. Knows when we need a bit of energy to spark us up, sort of thing. And his contest in front of the footy this year has been awesome for us and so reliable. He's been able to get on the end of it a heap as well, which has been great for him. And he looks really comfortable here, so that's great.
We'll head up to take some questions from the box. So experts up there are Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard.
Jai, Chatty here, brother. Congrats on the win, mate. We're just talking upstairs here, and you just mentioned it before, it was a bit of a scrap in terms of that midfield unit. Miki obviously dominated in the ruck, but the midfield, I suppose, with you guys, weren't able to get as many clearances as you'd expect from a dominant ruckman. Is there anything set at half-time, or is it the mix that you guys got in there? You're still a work in progress, obviously, to where you want to get to, I suppose, the end of the season.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, great for Mickey to have the dominance he did today, and some stern conversations coming down from the big fella to us mids about not being on the end of his hard work. Days like that from him, we got to support him a bit better than what we did, but it was pretty ugly in there. Lots of numbers, lots of scrap, but sort of happy to get the 4 points in the end.
And you've seen, obviously, you got Will Day on the sidelines, hopefully coming back soon. Mitchie Lewis, you got some guys, obviously, Weddle, obviously, potentially out for the rest of the season, but the guys that have come in have really stepped up with Cam McKenzie. Obviously, you got Sicily back. How are you guys feeling, obviously, going into the later stages of the season? about where you guys can, I suppose, go for the rest of the season. What are you trying to target, especially you've got a tough run coming up in the next few weeks?
Yeah, feeling really good. I mean, we've had multiple guys come in and play a role with the injuries that we have had. Even Rammer up forward has been awesome for us in the last month and so reliable as a contest down the line. Shammy's been bringing a lot of energy coming in as a sub, and when he played as a full game, a slightly different role tonight and looked elite with his forward pressure, so that was great. I think we're in a really good spot. We've got to sort of take it week by week though if we want to get there to the pointy end. It's slightly tougher run home than most, but if we're able to put ourselves in good positions and win those games, then anything's possible.
And Battle coming up against his old tight team this week. Obviously, a lot of fights going on in the game. Was some chirping? What's going on? Wizard looked like he was ready to throw someone down.
Yeah, he's always amongst it, the little fella. I thought Bats was super tonight against the old side. It was, weren't sure how they were going to play it, whether they'd come after him or not, and he handled it really well. Stood up in so many one-on-one contests. It was a real key for us down there tonight in defence. So we're up for him and we're up for us to be able to stand up and put our arms around him and get the win for him.
John, Nathan Burke here, mate. Well done tonight. Did you get what you expected from the Saints? Like, they brought numbers up, they clogged up that midfield. Is that what you were preparing for during the week?
It was part of it. Obviously last week when they played Freo, there was numbers everywhere and it looked pretty chaotic. So when they've played us in the past, they hadn't quite done that, so we weren't too sure how it was going to look. But we were sort of prepared for both ends of the spectrum. We certainly didn't nail it in terms of making the most of Miki's great work in the ruck, but sort of tried to overuse it a little bit early and just need to take territory and get our forwards in the game, but sort of found the balance late.
Yeah, great work, mate. And in terms of how you guys want to play, how close was that? Like, was that like 50% to how you guys want to play the game? I know you mentioned, clearances, that we could have done something a little bit better, but how close are you to knowing? Last week was a really big win. How much more you got to go?
Each game brings different challenges, and different oppositions have obviously different strengths that you have to nullify each week. And our outside ball movement and flow wasn't probably as fast as it normally is tonight, I don't think. And we probably didn't win the inside battle as well as we could have either. So definitely weren't at 100% tonight, but it's nice to be able to win games of footy when you're not at 100%.
Hawthorn midfielder Jai Newcombe with us after the Hawks' 20-point win tonight against St Kilda. Jai, I'm just interested in Josh Weddle. We've seen Will Day, when he's been on the bench, kind of help out and sit at the back of the bench and be an extra set of eyes down there. I saw Josh Weddle had the tablet and the iPad and was working on some things there. So what's kind of Josh's role to play while he waits to see how this back fracture plays out?
Yeah, I think Weds will be a helping hand for Simo in the backs, and I think it's going to be a great learning experience for him. I don't think he would have ever done anything like this in terms of either sitting in the box or being down by the bench and listening to what's going on and sort of seeing the game from a different lens. So I think it's going to be amazing for his growth and development to get this view on the game, and hopefully he can come back and be a part of it later in the year.
Finally, Giles, we'll let you go. It was such an even contest around the ball. How mindful were you with that last kick inside 50? Proved such a difference tonight, and you're able to take a lot of marks inside 50 early. St Kilda weren't as much in that camp, and in the end you prevailed by 20 points.
Yeah, we knew that if we got it in there, that our forwards are dangerous, and they always are. So, it was just about giving them as many opportunities as possible and backing them in their contest to get it done. And if we're able to get it in deep to some one-on-ones, or even if we lost those contests, then we'd be able to play a front half game. They're very strong at scoring from their back half, obviously, so it was a focus for us tonight, and we were able to do it well enough for the most part, which is pleasing.
As always, we appreciate your time, Jai. Good luck against Fremantle next week in Perth.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jai Newcombe joining us from the Hawks, winners by 20 points tonight, 14-10-94 to St Kilda 10-14-74. He's always the one at the bottom of the pack, rolling up the sleeves. He plays such an integral role for Hawthorn in their midfield, and as they await the return of Will Day, at the moment, he's the one who's getting most of the attention, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and he's obviously rightly so. He's their next best midfielder, and he can really tear it apart. I mean, I actually really liked him going down forward. He took that really nice mark, and whether that's how he can impact the game as well or get away from a tag. We've seen recently Bontempelli does that, goes down forward, and like I said, once Will Day gets back, it changes the whole dynamics in there. I mean, sometimes I don't love Hawthorn in terms of when they have 3 balls in there, especially tonight when they weren't getting the clearances, because outside you saw St Kilda, especially that last quarter, they actually got out of the front of the stoppage a lot when Wangani Miller was in there. And sometimes if you're giving up clearances, you don't have pace inside your midfield. You can
they're
get
a little
exposed.
slow, aren't they?
A little bit slower, but once you get, like I said, Will Day in there and some, like I love when Watson went in there as well. I would have liked to see him get in there, especially when the clearances weren't going their way, or someone just a little bit of spark, a little bit of difference, because it looked a bit stagnant at times, but they had so many numbers in there, and he's a superstar in the making. I mean, what a steal he's been.
I need to give a shout out to Max Hall for the Saints. Played the whole game on the half forward line, ended up with 27 and 3 goals. That's a full stat sheet for a half forward. Outstanding effort for a young Box Hill. Wonder whether when he was running around at Box Hill they knew what they had.
Yeah, well, he was dominant when in Box Hill as well. Played a similar kind of role, half forward, went on ball, played with him a lot. Good ball user. It's amazing how some players don't adapt to the AFL, and some players actually play better once they get to the AFL because the game it just suits them. And he's one of those players in terms of the ball movement's better for him. He gets a lot more space. You think about Box Hill. Not sure if you guys have been there too often, but it's pretty much it's a big pond in the middle there. So you don't have to run around the square. So he's got a lot more space where he can run into and use the ball.
And he's clearly not liking the pace when it comes to AFL level.
Definitely not. He's really adjusted super well, better than I thought he would, to be honest, because he was a great player of VFL, but it's a different game AFL, and he's 27 to 3. That's an unbelievable game, especially in a losing team.
And that's the art of recruiting, to be able to spot those blokes who can then make that step and handle it and even do better than what they do at the lower level.
100%.
You don't really need to use him in the midfield, do you, when he plays that high half forward role and he's being so high up the ground?
Well, he comes up. He did come up to the stoppage a fair bit. So, yes, he's not on ball technically starting in the centre bounces, but he does get up. And, like I said, similar to Dylan Moore, if you think about his All-Australian year, how he used to get a lot of the outlet kicks, he was averaging close to 20 disposals, I think 21 disposals in his All-Australian year. And a similar kind of role. You have to have a really big engine and you have to have a really good ball use and read the play really well. And both those players, at their best, do their best in the competition.
Again, I don't want to harp on kick efficiency, but if you look at the top 5 for Hawthorn, 100%, 78, 78, 76, 76. You look at St Kilda, the top kickers, 64, 41, 56, 42, 63. They just use the ball so well. And again, we're talking about recruiting. If you can't kick, you're probably not going to get a tap on the shoulder these days. It's such an important skill to have.
Yeah, and you think, and sorry to bring it back to another team, but for me, Carlton's a similar position. Yes, they've got high, I suppose, ranking players and marquee players, but they don't have very many good kicks either, if I'm being honest. And like you said, you see the teams these days. Even when I first started playing, there was probably only one good kick in the back line. Now it's almost 5. You have to have at least 4 or 5 to be able to use the ball to get out of the, I suppose, transition from D50 to forward 50. The game's changed so much, and the teams that have adjusted to the times are really the ones that are excelling at the moment.
And don't apologise for bringing up Carlton in a negative way.
I guess Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard with you. Hawthorn's 20-point win over St Kilda. The Saints won a lot of the stats. So they won the disposals 363 to 345. Won the inside 50s 53 to 42 by 11. The hit-outs we touched on, Lloyd Meek dominated there, 64 to 30 was the one stat Hawthorn did win. The Saints won the clearances, 41 to 37, centre clearances 11 to 9. They won the contested possession, 136 to 118. Uncontested possession, 222 to 213. The one area they couldn't take a mark inside 50, Hawthorn took 14 marks inside 50 to St Kilda's 9. So,
yeah.
On the stats you'd say St Kilda did a lot right, but yet it always felt like Hawthorn had them at arm's length.
Well, look at the scoring shot. They've had the exact same amount of scoring shots. And you think about Wangani Miller, he had a chance to kick 2 goals in that last quarter. So for me, I know it didn't look like St Kilda were going to win, but they had every right to. They actually had a lot of shots. They had shots that fell short. This is not including, I reckon they had 4 shots that fell within 3 metres of the goal line that didn't even go to a point. So they had a lot of shots on goal. Yes, it wasn't from marks. There was a lot of scrappy plays, a lot of shots on goal. Higgins missed a shot from 15 metres out straight in front. So they had every right to win this game, but they just didn't. It's just the cherry on the ice cream. And like you said, it's disposal efficiency. But disposal efficiently goes down when you're missing that many shots in front of goal, but also not even registering a point and turning it over. So for me, it is kicking around the ground, but it's also knowing your distance, knowing when I should go for a set shot, knowing when I should take on a tackle, give a handball to get a better shot, because they had so many shots from outside 50 that fell short. And Mason Wood, for me, is another one who had a lot of shots on goal that just didn't register anything.
Yeah. No, he's normally a quite reliable shot for goal. Tonight, he just had his boots on the wrong foot.
Do you think they were confused in a way? Like they were trying to look for that shorter pass and then they ended up turning it over? So they were almost put pressure on themselves, or it was just skill error, or they were putting pressure on themselves to make that kick and missing it?
The forwards don't help.
Yep.
So the forwards can actually help that guy up the field by leading into an easy spot where they can kick the ball. Far too often they're hailing cabs running backwards, wanting that ball out the front, whereas you look at Gunston set them up early by coming out taking 3 chest marks because he knows when to lead, when to come forward. The Saints just don't have a forward who has that sort of presence, can come forward. Cooper Sharman does it every now and again. And when he does, boy, he looks dangerous when he comes at the kicker.
And they let go of one of their best forwards last season, who I thought would very help them much.
Yeah, he comes at the ball.
Yep,
but,
he definitely comes at the ball. He has a marking presence down there, and he's done that this year as well with Membry we're talking about.
Yeah.
But like I said, sometimes the forwards, you're right, they're not leading at him, but it's a craft because you have credit to Hawthorn as well because they're playing inside and they're actually pinching him towards the boundary. So if they feel like they've got no other option but to lead back. So Hawthorn, give them credit because they are setting up defensively very well. And the one mark that they actually got was from Sicily, who you're like, he's in a great position, but it was just a perfect kick. And that's what you have to do if you're thinking inside. But that's not the way you need to play. You need to sometimes we call it a dummy lead. Schultze was the best at it. You actually have to lead when you know you're not going to get the ball, but you've got to lead at the kicker because you open up space for someone behind you, and no one's willing to do the sacrificial lead, or they don't know how to or when to for St Kilda, and that comes with experience, and that comes with knowing, and that comes with a system that tells you to do so.
And it's not just the big fellas. Butler and Higgins, these days, small blokes, we see Dylan Moore coming out.
Jamie Elliott.
All the time. Jamie Elliott. The small blokes can lead forward as well, but when they all run backwards, it makes it tough.
Just for the record, Max Hall had 5 shots on goal for 3 goals, 1. Desire Wanganeen Miller had 4 shots on goal for 3 behinds. Jack Higgins had 4 shots on goal for 2-2. 3 shots for Cooper Sharman for 1-1. 2 shots for Mason Wood for 1 behind. Marcus Windhager had 2 shots on goal for a goal, and Mitch Owens had 2 shots on goal for 1 goal. So that was the Saints had 27 scoring shots to Hawthorn's 26, but the Hawks prevailed by 20 points. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Fran said, are we questioning St Kilda's playing skills? Are they doing enough this year, or are they under the radar with Carlton more in the spotlight? Is your expectation of St Kilda, Berkey, they would have taken a few more steps this year than the 5 wins?
No,
feels like they're going backwards to go forward a bit.
Yeah, there's still holes in that team. Alex Taro was taking Max Ramsden, both young fellas, but one's a foot taller than the other one, and he's your third tall. They need the Caminetti, who's potentially their best forward. He's playing in the back line, so they need tall defenders, they need dynamic midfielders, and they need another tall forward. So there's holes in that list that prevent them from being a top 8 team.
I'll tell you who I do like, though. Hasty and Taru.
Yeah.
And I know Hasty's made some bad skill errors, but you
kept
copped
going,
that.
didn't he?
I tell you what, for a 19-year-old to run back in the flight to the scariest man in the AFL right now, because he can jump, he's got a thick knee in Marbiol Chol,
Yes.
and spoil that ball without giving away a free kick.
Yep.
That's a 19-year-old doing that with confidence, not caring about himself.
And most importantly, he mucked up his first 3 kicks. He turned them straight over the opposition, but he didn't go into his shell. He kept having a crack, and that's a good sign.
You found a guy there, 100%. And that's the point of this, the last few games for St Kilda, last several games, is who are you going to find? Where's the growth going to come from? And who's going to be into the next season that's going to really take that next step. And that's what they've got to keep finding.
I'm sure Ross Lyon will highlight that during the week. 0437 774 774. And Wanganeen Miller needs to lead the Saints to take the next step to be elite. He does the exact opposite of what Ross Lyon coach teams do. He plays on instinct and with heart. There's some brutal comments on the SMS line. Is Jai Newcomb the best mid-season pickup thus far? I think it's hard to argue with that. Michael wants to know, can you read out those 10 grounds that Hawthorn and St Kilda have played at? I missed them. Can you fire them off, Lauren?
We have Junction Oval, Glenferrie Oval, Toorak Park was the toughest one to get. The MCG, Moorabbin, Princess Park, Waverley, York Park in Tasmania, Docklands and Carrara during COVID.
So the 10 venues in which Hawthorn and St Kilda have played at various venues throughout VFL and AFL history. The Hawks do enough to see off the Saints tonight, while the Brisbane Lions also had a 28-point win over Port Adelaide at the Gabba. 18-12, 120 to the Power, 14-8, 92. Brisbane got on top late in the first quarter. They kicked 6 goals on the bounce. Zach Bailey finished with 5, Charlie Cameron with 3. And for Port Adelaide, Mitch Georgiades in a losing side kicked 4-3 to Willie Rioli, and Jack Lukosius on return. The votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year, Nathan Beck.
Have you got him? I know that. Well, I reckon it's going to be Toussaint, isn't it?
I think you're on the same page as me, mate.
Do you want to call 3 or do you want to do it?
Hey, well, I think let's go with Big Lloyd for 3.
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
You're going to go the other way.
I would have went.
All right, let's go the other way. Nasai Wanganeen for 3,
then
Lloyd for 2,
yeah,
and then Hall for 1.
That's what I would have had.
There you go.
We got there in the
minds
end.
Think alike.
3
almost.
to Nasai Wanganeen Miller, 2 to Big Lloyd Meek, and 1 to Jai Newcomb. Max Hall.
Yep.
I'm trying to just create some
the wrong
controversy.
mid-season pickup.
Yes, Max Hall gets the 1 vote. In Nathan Burke and Chad Wingard's collective 3, 2 and 1 for the ABC Footballer of the Year. The other winners so far today, Geelong had a 72-point win over the Tigers, 18-16, 124 to Richmond 7-10-52. The Cats booted 8 goals in the second quarter to get out by 59 points. Jeremy Cameron booted 4 goals, 5. Shannon Neal booted 3. Ryan Mansell kicked 3. The sad news was another hamstring injury for number 1 draft pick Sam Lawler. And here at Docklands, where 29,000 were in, the Gold Coast defeated Essendon by 41 points, 18-7, 115 to the Bombers 11-8, 74. Ben King booted 4 goals. Matt Rowell had 17 tackles. At one stage, he was on world record pace. He had 13, I think, at half-time. And Nate Cady booted 3 goals, and Zach Merritt had 40 disposals. So as we try and stack up who's best is best enough, where do we sort of see Hawthorn? They're in the top 4 at the moment. Geelong, Brisbane, Collingwood above them. Will they stay there by season's end at this stage?
I reckon they finish either 4th or 5th. I reckon it's going to be just in or just out. I can't see them finishing below 5th with the run that they've got home. And the players that could potentially come back in the next probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Thereabouts. I haven't looked at the ladder and who they all play. They've got a bit of an easy run, have they?
Well, they've got, they've got Freo next week, but then they've got Carlton...
Port Adelaide, Carlton, Adelaide, Collingwood, Melbourne and Brisbane to finish off the season.
Three tough ones towards the end there. So, look, they'll sit at 6th. I'll give them that. This round, the top 9 teams played the bottom 9 teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we haven't had an upset yet.
Not yet.
Is one coming tomorrow?
I think one might come tomorrow.
Sydney and Freo?
I think Sydney are the ones that will cause that. There's got to be one bottom team that beats the top 9. Can't be the way we look at it. Too easy to tip.
Sydney and Freo, the early game tomorrow, and Adelaide and Melbourne as the final game from the Adelaide Oval. So I guess interestingly, the Hawks have they've 3 wins and 4 losses against the top 9 sides, 8 wins and 1 loss against the bottom 9 sides. So those tests that come against the fellow top 8 sides will very much shape as to whether they're in the top 4, just outside, or potentially whether they'll slip to just fitting in the top 8. Ken Hinkley, also word coming through from the Gabba. It appears Sam Palpepper has done another ACL. So just terrible luck at the moment for Port Adelaide as they've tried to wrestle through some of their injuries throughout the season.
Yeah, and Palpepper, I mean, he's been playing some great... They look different when he's playing well. And he obviously has gone through major surgery previously, and yeah, it's going to be a tough time for him. The club is very good at every single club is the best at wrapping their arms around players, and he won't be alone in this journey. But if it is his ACL, if it's confirmed, it's going to be a long one.
Scott on the SMS 0437774774 says the Hawks backline really saved them tonight. Yep. Their midfield is a concern. So I think we all kind of agree with you Scott. Josh Battle finished with 23 disposals. Jarman Impey with 22. Jai Newcomb with 22. While Nasiah Wanganeen Miller got over 40 disposals for the first time, the first Saint in 7 years to do so. He finished with 43 disposals, 4 clearances. He had according to our champion data, he had 914 metres gained, but there are some that said he had over 1,000.
Yeah, AFL app has said 1,000.
Okay. What do we go with? You work at the AFL.
We'll go with the AFL app. Hey, welcome to the club, big fella.
11 score involvements. Marcus Winhager had 27 disposals. Max Hall had 27 and 3 goals. Jack Gunston booted 3 goals for the Hawks. 2 goals to Nick Watson, to Ginnivan, and to 2 goals to Nick Watson, to Marbiel Chol. And they were the multiple goal kickers for the Hawks. Thank you very much, Chad. We'll see you next week. Thank you to Berkey.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck with the coaching next
thoroughly
week.
enjoyed it.
Thanks to Marnie Vinyl down on the boundary. Thanks to Loz.
Thanks, Clint. You'll be listening to the ABC Listen App. Alex Demonor in action tonight on Court 3.
Yes.
So it should be coming up shortly.
For our listeners who are tuning in on local radio, of course, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen App has coverage of Wimbledon and the cricket. Australia resumed 2 down as play gets underway between Australia and the West Indies in, about 45 minutes' time. So a chance to listen to all of that as you try to get to sleep or maybe stay up engaged throughout the night, especially with Alex Demonor. And don't forget, of course, the rugby is on tomorrow night as well, so it's all covered on the ABC Listen App. We have the AFL tomorrow from midday, AFL Sunday with Cameron Ling and myself. We'll take you through all the events of the weekend's footy. Hawthorn winners by 20 points here at Docklands, 14-10-94 to St Kilda 10-14-74 in front of 36,035 fans. The Hawks recording their 11th win of the season, and they jump up into the AFL's top 4 for at least tonight. Thanks so much for your company throughout the day on ABC Sport. We can't wait to do it for you again tomorrow or tonight if you want to stay up. Good night from Docklands.
To ABC Sport, and shortly we're taking you to our live coverage of Wimbledon 2025. Don't forget, ABC Sport has all your live winter sporting action, and it's all available in the palm of your hand on the ABC Listen app. We're bringing you ball-by-ball coverage of Australia's Test Tour of the West Indies. Just click on the red cricket button for uninterrupted coverage from the Caribbean. The Matildas are in action on the Sport Extra button with a series of friendly matches in WA, while the biggest rugby union event outside of the World Cup has hit our shores with the British and Irish Lions on tour across the country. Every match of the Lions tour is on the Listen app on the Sport Extra button. And of course, there's still our local footy codes each weekend. Every AFL match is available on the AFL or AFL Extra button. And for the NRL, just click on the green ABC Sport button. But now, let's take you to England for our live coverage of Wimbledon 2025. We join our BBC commentary team, including Gigi Salmon, Russell Fuller, Pat Cash, Kim Clijsters and Mark Woodford.
Defensive lob from the 22-year-old Dane. Back in play by Rabakina. She resets, backhand, lashed, long, and it's a second set point saved. We are back at juice. Clara Towson can breathe again. Ian Castle, what have you got going on court 1?
Well, for the first time, Mira Andreeva is under a little bit of pressure here. The 7th seed break point down for the second time in this game, but saving it with a service winner. And the ball coming off Hayley Baptist's racket and trundling safely into the net. So back to juice for the 3rd time in this game. And so we shall see whether or not Andreeva can hold on and take a 4-1 lead in this second set, having taken the first set by 6-1. Serve into the net from the Russians. Just levels have just dipped a little bit in this game. Second serve is long, and it's another break point.